You guys get quiet.
Yeah. No, I was just responding to this person who's telling me, sorry I missed it, when I clearly didn't read the fact that it says live in 4 minutes 16 minutes ago.
Well, that's about right. Yo, guys, welcome to the pregame.
What's going on, people?
See, what's going on now is, you guys know I am completely trained by a school called the Mooch's School of Hosting and Moderating Podcasts. So since I graduated from that school, this podcast will never be on time. All right, let's just put it that way, guys.
Well, no. Let's place blame where it belongs. K Diva is on this podcast, and
he is.
When K Diva decides to show up, that's usually when we start. But since he hasn't decided to show up, we decided to go without him.
See, so. I think he's making his sea breeze right now, and he's trying to put the little umbrella in it, and he's probably having a problem.
Sea breeze is not a drink spot.
Yeah,
it's not.
No, it is not. No, it's a scent.
That's actually that's a brand of female body wash stuff.
Yeah,
perfect.
Feminine wash.
Well, it is perfect for him. I'm sure he does put that in his Cooper drink.
And that's why he needs the mini umbrella. I got it now. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
What is
up, Lethal Papa? What is up, Nukem, UK Jazzerist, Stick Figure? I took over Xbox. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. See, usually when you're out peddling cookies and stuff like that, I'm usually the one who has to try to, stay in line with what the chat is talking about and everything. And I'm over here pulling my hair out. You know I'm pulling my hair out because you saw.
And that's why you're bald.
Exactly. So it is definitely good to have you back in house, Oh Snaps. This is going to be an awesome show.
Totally, dude. Oh man, where the fuck are these people?
I don't know.
Sorry for yelling, everybody.
All I gotta say is hashtag Illuminati. That's what it is.
What's up, Longshot? What's up, Thomas Romanelli? But I'm not used to calling you Thomas. So what's going on, Tommy?
Tommy Guns.
Yes. Tommy.
Oh man.
I need a nap, guys. I think I had too much coffee tonight.
Well. Hold on, you said you needed that. I know you were streaming earlier on Mixer. What were you streaming and how long?
Fortnite for an hour and a half. Ooh. No, I lied. It was like an hour and 37 minutes. So strenuous.
I know.
Okay, honestly, I thought it was like a half hour, and then I looked at the time. I'm like, holy shit, 97 minutes passed.
So, in full honesty, I think there's some issues with like how you guys are streaming out to YouTube, but it's hard to watch some of you guys' YouTube streams. Like they're not consistent, like they're chunky sometimes, and for whatever reason the Twitch, not Twitch, but the Mixer streams are a lot smoother.
They're getting smoother.
Yeah, they're a lot smoother to watch than your YouTube stream. So I'm just letting you guys know because I know you guys do a lot of streaming, and it's sometimes hard to watch the YouTube one. You have to I almost have to watch it at a later date.
The last YouTube stream I did, it was definitely choppy. The frames weren't consistent and stuff like that. But you also got to think that the integration of having the streaming app on the console should in fact make it smoother anyway, because you have the hardware kind of dealing with it, where when I'm streaming to YouTube, I'm dealing with the Elgato and then the software on the computer and trying to get everything kind of like synced together and stuff like that. So, I mean, it naturally, it's gonna... Oh, man. I'm actually... somebody's requesting a backdoor to the show, and I'm trying to get... I'm trying to get that straightened out.
Who's that person?
Mr. Backdoor himself.
Mr. Backdoor himself?
Oh man,
he lives in America's attic.
Oh, the funny thing is, I already sent him an invite. I think I know who you're talking about.
Oh, okay, cool. See, these three right here, we're on the same page right now. That's what's going on.
Vegetables and sadness.
What was that? Was that your dinner menu for today?
Yeah, it was. It was really sad. Just so everybody knows, K Mega and Newark NJ are on strike from the podcast. I just want to put this out there.
Oh.
I think it's because they called O Snaps a filthy vegetarian, and then they walked. Is what's going on.
That stuff is dirty. It comes out of the ground. Come on.
You know what? Let's not go there about dirty, okay?
It's filthy. It grows into
Dude.
animal poop.
Okay. Like the animals that people eat are
All right,
sitting in their own
okay,
poop.
anyway, so back to... How was Fortnite today, oh snaps?
Watch the hidden cameras. Okay, Fortnite was awesome. I killed a cow. It was
How
a
was,
wooden...
did you make a
wooden
stairway
cow.
to heaven?
No stairway to heaven. Actually, that's in my gameplay today, though.
Oh, is it?
My goodness.
Yeah.
Is it when I broke the floor, or is it when
Both
your
of you
son did?
rude people broke the floor from under me.
Well, I didn't know if you broke the one below it, it would like ruin the one thing above it. So I didn't know that was gonna
It's
happen.
okay. I didn't know either, but when I make my castle in the sky, at least now I know that I have to have multiple areas to secure it rather than trust people on our team.
Yeah. Well, see, I just wanted to make you stranded for a little bit. Like, what the hell? We're stuck up here, and then all of a sudden, next thing you die, and you know how that goes. It's
Yeah.
for a long ways. You fell so far.
I literally, like, when I saw myself falling, I was like, no! Like, I got nervous because I was just like, why am I falling down? And then I realized,
The thing is, you
What
told me
have
a
you
whole
done?
entire sentence before you hit the ground.
what happened?
You told me a whole entire sentence how much you hate me
Before you hit the ground.
And
I totally did.
and I did believe when you bounce, you were able to squeeze in, you asshole.
I was so angry at you, and then my son made me even more angry.
Yeah, well, your son knew what was going to happen at
Yeah,
that
he
point.
did. What's up, Siberia? What's up, Trinity Warrior? We're just waiting on the people on strike, but yeah,
Well,
we
got-
sent Mr. Backdoor an invite, but Mr. Backdoor has not come in the back door.
Oh man, out of the three people here, you are the one person to say that. Oh snaps!
I'm sorry.
I'm on my best behavior right now. I'm all
You're
good.
doing great. It's because you have food in your belly, so you're like, you know what? I can be calm.
Yeah, how can
Yeah, I'm
not-
starving to death.
Nothing makes another person more happy than waffle fries. I'm just going to say that
Wow.
right
Waffle fries are the bomb.
now. Yeah, they are.
Especially with a
This is-
cheeseburger.
This is going to be the podcast. We're just going to talk about waffle fries and Fortnite and vegetables. What's going on, graphic god? You inspired me.
Oh,
Rundown
I
on
can't
Wednesday
wait to
morning.
see the
Ooh,
rundown. Oh my goodness.
What is that?
Yo, Jay, I have been keeping that absolutely top secret. I haven't even told Oh Snaps anything about it, so...
You're a scumbag. I
Well-
thought I was important.
Well, me and Graphic God, see, and this is another thing. Yo, the community is absolutely outstanding. Me and Graphic God, we got into a private hangout talking about OBS and certain things that we can do and we can't do, and kind of like sharing our knowledge on both sides. And it sounds like whatever we did is really working for the rundown. Yo, Jay, I cannot wait to see that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Uh-huh.
I'm very salty right now that I did not know about this.
It's okay. It's okay. I can't know about stuff, you know, that
We're
you
not
don't-
friends anymore.
Ooh.
Yo, what's up, all you Quasimodo motherfuckers?
Oh,
Hey,
my
wait, who the fuck you calling Quasimodo?
Yo, that's scoliosis, man. Be nice.
Hey, I do have scoliosis. How did you know?
Well, yo, Noof.
I'm
I was
about-
like, damn, I can't even kick you or mute you.
No, you
Yeah.
can't. Noof,
Sent you an invite just to kick you out.
I appreciate that, man. You know, the back door is always open for you. No pun intended, by the way, everybody in the chat. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, man. You ready to talk about, I don't know, this whole Cliff Blazinski thing on Twitter? You down to talk about that, man?
Bring it, man. I'm pretty much up to date on all this shit. Yeah, I got a few opinions to toss around. Absolutely.
Nice. And we do have a topic today. I'm gonna talk about it after the intro. You're actually gonna go last on that, and it's gonna be it's something to really think about before you answer. So
Sure.
I wish I was able to give you more time on this, but you're gonna have to wing it. You're gonna have to do it Canadian style, man. You know?
Hey, man, for the guy that comes through the back door, everything is delayed.
Greatness awaits, right?
Something like that.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Well, and on that note, guys, I don't know. Do you think it's time to play the intro?
I would say do it.
Do it. All right.
I just heard you guys are a bit short. Figured, hey, I was doing, checking you out. So
Hey, I'm 5'10", and that's about average. Okay.
You're telling yourself that, bot.
I will.
Snap.
Let's get this intro out the way. Here we go, guys. What's going on, people, and welcome to another episode of the Next Podcast. Guys, I have been hyped all day waiting to go live today. We have a bunch of great topics. We have a couple people, I don't know, they were either kidnapped, sucked in a black hole or something like that. But we do have a special guest who came in through the back door and decided that he's going to come in. He's going to be freestyling right now when it comes to his thoughts and opinions about the topics we have. And it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Noof Nukem!
Yo, what is happening, people? I hope you're flying high this beautiful Saturday, day, morning, evening, whatever it might be in your neck of the woods. It is evening here, but it is a good one, and it's always a great time to slide in the back door over to the Next Podcast. Yeah.
Yo, that was absolutely amazing and also absolutely creepy at the same time. How do you do it, Noof?
I don't know, man. I've had years and years of practice at being stylistic and creepy at the same fucking time. I don't know.
Nice, beautiful, beautiful.
The wife has never complained. It's like dating multiple personalities in the sack.
Dude, not for anything. I whenever you bring up your wife, I constantly think that she is the absolute MVP of the Xbox gaming community, man. Her tolerance and her patience must be absolutely amazing when it comes to Mr. Noof Nukem. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she happens to be Filipino, so she can swear at me, and I wouldn't know what she was saying.
That's a perfect relationship. That's the dream.
That's right. I'm a multi-console owner and a what do you call it? Multicultural lifestyle.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's right.
Wow. Yo, Noof has got the best of both worlds going on. Well, Noof, like I said, I can't wait to get in on these topics with you, but we can't do that until we introduce the rest of the panel. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce the first lady of the Next Podcast, the creator of thenextpodcast.com and the creator of the Twitter site, The Next Podcast 1. Oh, snaps!
Hey guys, happy Saturday. I'm so excited to be here today. I do want to just say thank you for having me as always. I know I'm a part of the family, but I get to be here today. So that's super exciting. Thanks, Noof, for joining us because, we are short people and that's really awesome of you. And have you ever done radio? Because you have like a really crazy like radio sounding voice.
How did you know? I just left my radio station back in March. I did 4.5 years.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back into it, but politics at the station I was at, and I kind of got forced out. So, I'm hoping to get back into the gig. I was a morning show and a drive show DJ, and want to get back into it, but these things take time.
Those fuckers. Well, good luck with that. But anyways, I hope everybody enjoys the show.
Nice, nice. And, of course, next on the list, this name is coming because your lights start flickering in your house. And it's time to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring, the Don.
Hey, what's up, guys? I know Xbot gets a little excited when he gets closer to the mic when he says my name, and it just gets louder. So
I noticed that.
Yeah, I'm fired up to be here. This is one of the things I look forward to. I work a long week, and sometimes it's just fun to talk about games and what's going on in the gaming world. So.
Nice. Well, like I said, we got a nice lineup of topics to talk about. I want to get topics, but I want to get into the Lawbreakers beta. I want to get into what Cliff Blazinski has been saying on Twitter. Just a bunch of stuff. I have this open topic where we're going to talk about the game that you would pick or you would make to market or to kind of like flagship the One X. But before all that, I do want to start off pretty heavy-handed here. And I'm going to start off with Gun Media and Ilphonic Games. And for people who don't know, those are the developers and the publishers of a little game called Friday the 13th, the game. Real quick rundown about this game. It is crowdfunded. So if it wasn't for the people who were out there and opened their wallet for this game, yeah, exactly. This game would actually not be out right now. And for people who have been following the game, the release was, I'm going to be nice here and just say less than stellar. The servers weren't working. The game came out glitchy as all hell. And just a lot of drama has gone on with this game. And we're going to talk about the cherry on top of the sundae right now, which is just recently for a limited time, they offered a certain skin for free for everybody for the Friday the 13th game. It was a Jason skin called the Tom Savini skin. Oh snaps!
Savini?
Savini?
Mm-hmm.
Savini or Savani?
Savini.
That's like tomato or tomato. But anyway, oh snaps! I know you didn't expect this, but do you want to give people a rundown on like what that skin is and who that skin was intended for?
Yeah, the Tom Savini skin was supposed to be just for backers. It was actually a limited time. You can only you could purchase them, and it was like $6. And I wanted to buy a couple of them. Xbox was like, no. And then
just had to throw that in there.
No shit. There was people spending like $1,000, $1,500 on that one with the campers pack. And then there was people who were paying $300, $400, $500 for the Tom Savini, depending on if you were getting it on Steam, Xbox, or PlayStation. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm one of those people who sold my code, sold my code, and I got a few dollars for it, right? But that was supposed to be a limited edition type of item, and I didn't have it. I had it for PlayStation, and then I sold it because I didn't play as much on PlayStation. That's the reason I sold it. It's not because I didn't want it. It wasn't because I bought it just to be like a scumbag. Okay. But it was a limited edition item, and people are spending, lots of money just to get this limited edition item. Now, it went on sale on PlayStation, I want to say maybe 3 weeks to a month after the game came out, and people flipped their shit. And then Friday the 13th tweeted, hey, this was an accident. This will never happen again. This is an exclusive item. You could only get it if you were a backer and you purchased through the backing thing and you had that opportunity.
Okay.
So now, people are pissed off. I'm pissed off. One, because I backed the game. I pre-ordered the game, and I also got my skin. Granted, I didn't keep my skin. I got rid of it because I didn't need it for the PlayStation, though I have the game on there. I play more with my friends on Xbox. So that's why I didn't keep it. But I feel like people have been getting shit on since this game has come out. And I don't want to hear that stuff about, it's a small team. I'm over that. That was everybody's excuse at first, including myself.
Well, when you said people, basically gamers getting shit on by the dev team and stuff like that, what exactly are you talking about? Because we have the crowdfunding skin, but just in case people don't know, what other things have gone on with this game to kind of add to this whole thing?
I mean, if people don't know, if they haven't played it, I mean, the whole launch was a massacre. It's a piece of shit. They're constantly patching the game. And they're banning people who are cheating. If you're on top of a roof. Well, first of all, if you're going to create a game and you can't fix the glitches, how are you going to ban somebody who paid money for the fucking game?
The Division.
How do they ban people for going into glitches that they're allowing on their game? And then they patch things, but they haven't patched those glitches. But, since someone's pissed off that someone's glitching, they're going to get banned. That's bullshit. And then to top it off, They put the skin on sale on PlayStation. People got pissed. They were like, no, that was an accident. That wasn't us. It was PlayStation. Oh, now it's just an accident that it was, the Xbox launch was an absolute trash mess, worse than PS4. And now they give it away for free when they just did a patch. Excuse me.
Yeah,
I think that's fucking bullshit. I'm mad.
Well, so am I. And the thing is, like you said, that's Savini skin is supposed to be strictly for the crowdfunders. I know we've played Friday the 13th with gamertag Killer Scorpion, and he was the one guy that had the Savini skin, and I remember people like talking to him in the party, like, "Yo, where'd you get that?"
Jelly.
Yeah,
because we were playing with him on Xbox, so I wasn't playing on PlayStation. I was like, "Damn, that looks good," But now I got it for free.
And he was able to say, well, he got that because he invested in that game. That game wouldn't be there, if people like him didn't invest in it. And not only that, people who got the skin actually invested twice. You know what I'm saying? Because they crowdfunded for the game, and then they bought the skin. I mean, it was a measly $6, which is a good deal, all right? But it's like
it was your identification. Exactly. That was like a way for people to know. Because so many people, after the game had launched, they were like, oh, how do I get the skin? How do I get the skin? How do I get the skin? And it was like a proud thing saying, hey, you know what? You had to back the game, unfortunately. But it was like kind of like a divider, like in a sense. And I don't use that word in a negative way, so please don't take it that way. But it was a way to identify people who backed and people who did something. And it was something that people were curious about too, Yeah. And it was awesome. I mean, it still is awesome, but the game still fucking runs like crap. Just say.
Yo, it's still glitchy as hell to this day. I want to throw that out there. Definitely agree with Snaps, but I want to move to Noof Nukem. Yo, Noof, first of all, do you have the Friday the 13th game, man?
No, I never bothered with it, and just never really appealed to me. Like, it's one of those games that looks interesting for the moment, but I didn't want a game that I wasn't overly serious about clogging up my backlog. But with saying that, guys, I can totally understand where you're coming from. I mean, you invested in the game and had faith in the game long before the developer actually put this thing, on the marketplace floor, so to speak. And it's no different than someone in Halo unlocking a certain skin or a helmet by getting to a certain level. You feel proud of that. It's an accomplishment, right? Like you said, it's an identity thing, and it's no different for that. Like if I was able to buy, say, that helmet that, say, Xbot worked so hard to achieve in game, but I could literally buy it for like $2, it would totally defeat the purpose. That would make you just like, well, what was the whole point? And again, the same thing here. Like, you invested in it, you showed faith in the developers, and they definitely made a mistake, and it's insulting to the people that backed them, and hopefully they can make it up somehow. But I definitely understand where you're coming from, and it's like I said, the game has been, for the most part, a bit of a mess in more ways than one. Hopefully it's starting to come around right now, but you guys will have better input on that than me, since I haven't actually played it.
Nice.
I like your perspective. I like, using another game that we're like everyone's more familiar with. I don't want to say everybody, but in a sense, like, we're all more familiar with.
Everybody knows Halo.
And like, I really wanted, what was the mask? I mean, the helmet Xbox.
Emil.
Yeah, Emil's helmet.
Oh my God, I want it so bad still to this day, okay? And I haven't played much since I didn't get it, but I want it so bad. If I could buy it for $2 and not earn it, then, I mean, yeah, I'm going to be happy on my side, but is that going to make, like, let's say Xbot, who earned it, happy? Probably not. Or thousands of other people. So I like the way you put that. Thank you.
Yo, Noof, I love that perspective. Like, I'm on the road to Spartan Rank 152 on Halo, and when that happens, I get a special rec pack that has a special nameplate that you can't get otherwise. You have to get to the maximum Spartan rank in Halo 5 to get that nameplate. That is the reason why I'm doing it. Now, if all of a sudden they decided that they were going to sell that rec pack, say for like $20, making an astronomical price for just one pack, like, I would be thoroughly disappointed on that. Now, Noof, when it comes to this game, the developers actually came out and said that they're also starting a new game. Now, with the launch of Friday the 13th being an absolute disaster, all this stuff going on with the crowdfunders and them kind of like shitting all over the crowdfunders with this one kind of like badge of pride or whatnot. What do you think about their new game? Are you going to look into what they're doing, or has this put like a sour taste in your mouth in what this development team does per se?
Well, first of all, for someone who didn't invest money on Friday the 13th, maybe me would be a bad example, but for you guys, totally. I mean, you're going to be skeptical about their next game. I mean, if they can't fix their shit, so to speak, with the current game, I mean, what makes you think that they're really going to get things right with whatever game they're currently in development on? Like, they can't take game players for granted, no matter who you are, whether you invested $5 or $100, because at the end of the day, players are what makes any game. A game without players is like a podcast community without viewers. It just goes nowhere. Like, we have to give the implementation, we have to test it. And essentially, you know what, a lot of games these days, guys, whether we realize it or not, we are the beta testers. We test this shit out. They patch it. We're getting patches all the time. But as far as this company goes, like I said, they're new and you got to cut them some slack. Again, a small team has to be difficult, especially when you have a game that has so many different servers, so many things to implement, like AI and functionality, and make sure that it doesn't glitch and stuff like that. So, I mean, hats off to them, but yeah, like it could leave a very sour taste in people's mouths and might make you more skeptical about investing in their next project.
Well, I will definitely let you know when it comes to Gun Media as a publisher, Ilphonic Games as a dev team. I'm going to be looking at what they're doing kind of like through a magnifying glass and whatnot, and before I even decide, like, oh yeah, that next title is going to be worth it. But I do want to come over to the Don, and I want to hear what his thoughts are about this crowdfunding skin actually going for a limited time. I believe it's closed now, but going for a limited time for free, and just the overall thoughts about this development team, this publisher, and how they handled this Friday the 13th game in general.
Man, this is like my worst nightmare. Like, literally, if you think about, crowdfunding, I mean, like, I can go do crowdfunding right now. I'm independent. I have enough content out there that I can show that I can probably get people to get behind the game and support it in the current state of things, right? But the problem is, I think a lot of times when crowdfunding happens, there's not really a game plan. They're just like, hey, give us money, right? And the end result is kind of like what you get here, which is a complete mess. And I don't think it's, I don't ever really believe in lazy developers, because I've never seen it. I've met a lot of developers firsthand. I've never met a lazy developer. It doesn't exist. It really comes down to time, money, and talent, right? And when you're crowdfunding, one of those things is kind of going to be the issue in the case of like Friday the 13th. Is it a time thing? Is it a talent thing? Because a lot of people just threw money at these guys and they're not necessarily that much of a proven team, right? And or is it just pure raw talent? And I'm gonna just say, I think the safe answer is probably say it's all three of those things, right? Okay. But when you take money away from anything, a publisher or from the community, you do have a responsibility to deliver on that promise. And I think this is a harsh reality, I think, for gamers as we get more excited about this stuff. We fund games that normally a publisher won't even touch. I think the public is starting to understand why certain publishers won't get involved or get in bed with certain groups of people, if that makes any sense. And I think this is just a harsh reality and an example that I don't give any excuses to the developer. You've got to deliver a good product before you charge the public. And I think it's just a swing and a miss for them. I think it's a huge hit, and I don't know if people are going to have very much confidence in their next game because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just ask you?
Go ahead, Noof.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, like, how much, like, and I'll ask everybody's opinion on this, but how well do you guys honestly think this game would have done if it didn't have the big name license behind it, the Friday the 13th? If this was a standalone game under any other name, where do you guys think this game would have been? How much do you contribute to that license? Because I know when this was launched, a lot of people got excited just for that fact, to be able to play as Jason and be able to chase people around and buddy up with your friends. Like, that's interesting. So I wonder how much of that crowdfunding money was actually securing the license to begin with.
I don't think they would have ever released their game, to be honest with you, without it. Because they had something playable that was a little much smaller scale. that's what kind of won them over. The people that own the rights to the Friday the 13th. And as far as I understand, they actually kind of approached them, is how
Oh,
it
okay.
went. And then, you went into the backers. Now that they have that under there, they're asking for more money because they want to expand on and embellish the title. Maybe they're expanded outside of their range or their scope, or maybe they just, I would say, I don't think it would ever released. I don't think they would ever got the financial backing to make whatever they were making beforehand come to market. To be honest with you.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Oh snaps! What do you think? If first of all, how much of the crowdfunding do you think was put into actually snagging the Friday the 13th kind of like trademark name and whatnot? And if they didn't have that, what do you think about this game? Would this game have come out? Would have sold well? What do you think?
I think that the name of the whole Friday the 13th feeling and the name and everything that they put out there was the reason that people crowdfunded it. Obviously if it was just murderer on, I can't even think of a name, but I feel like the name is the massive reason why people, crowdfunded. It's why they were so excited about it. Is different parts of the movies and all that really like was what had drawn people to it. Like that's why I wanted it. I was like, oh my gosh, like that feeling of Jason Voorhees and all that stuff. That was crazy. So that's where the money came from. And I don't remember what else you said.
It would have been called Super Psycho Camp Killer.
Basically, what it would have been.
And I wouldn't have crowdfunded it. I wouldn't have.
It would have been Dead by
put that
Daylight
time.
with only one enemy is what it would have been. It would have been like even less than what Dead by Daylight is, and I don't think it would have sold at all. People would have looked at that and been like, well, over at Dead by Daylight they have like what 5, 6, 7 like villains to pick from, each with their own unique kind of like powers and stuff like that. I don't think it would have sold at all, to really be honest with you, man.
That's the major reason why I was, backing the game, because it was the name. And I like that, Noof brought that up, because that is a really good point. People probably wouldn't have crowdfunded the game like they did if it wasn't, Friday the 13th. And, the name was really important. This lady's dogs next door need to shut the fuck up.
I hear him
It's
too,
pissing
man.
me off.
Well, all we need is the Silent Hill sirens to kick off, and then we're completely good
they're
for the rest of
coming.
the show. But
Can I just say one more thing?
Go ahead.
What else did you ask Noof earlier? You asked him something else, and I wanted to comment on it, and then I forgot because we got all caught up in. The next game that they're developing.
Yes.
I would be really skeptical about either purchasing the game or even, let's say, backing the game. And I would definitely wait until after the game release to see what happened after Friday the 13th. And that launch was such a mess. I'm sure that they would ensure that didn't happen again, or at least try to. But I don't feel like I have enough faith in them at this point to really even pre-order a game or get it at launch. I would have to wait and see how other people did.
Nice. And I mean that's pretty much the boat I'm in. For their first game, they have completely screwed up. I'm even to the point where I'm calling them scammers, because now it feels like this game was created. They got the license for Friday the 13th. They knew it was going to sell to a certain extent, and they just kind of took the money that they made from that, and they're already making another game now. I feel that
it's too soon. That's bullshit.
The single player isn't even out yet, and that is half of the game right there. I know a lot of people say, well, you're not going to buy the game for the single player or whatever, but it's still part of the game that's missing right now. I have a feeling that once they patch that in terms of any stability patches or anything like that afterwards, I feel like they're going to be few and far between. You already said they're a small team. They're already working on another game. Like, I don't feel like they're going to squeeze in time to really give the support for Friday the 13th that it needs or deserves. And I'm just trying to look at it from kind of like that common sense point of view. I don't see it happening.
Well, but that plays bad against them, right? I mean, how you perform as a development team will dictate where your next source of income comes from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we talked about crowdsourcing. Okay, let's say the crowdsourcing, like they have a bad history there, right? So they've already burned bridges there, and I'm sure that people still will support them up to a couple more burnt bridges, if you know what I mean. But then you also have publishers, right? Sometimes these opportunities of crowdfunding and getting people to kind of recognize their vision, and if you deliver on that and you deliver it well, guess what? You don't have to go crowdfunding next time. You can actually possibly get a publisher
True
for,
story.
for, your, for your next title. And as a publisher, if you don't deliver a finished product, you deliver a buggy product, right? You piss off the fan base, the core niche fan base that you have. Would you, as somebody that has a bunch of money in your wallet, invest into them? I wouldn't. And so it hurts them on all fronts in regards to they have to fix Friday the 13th. Otherwise, as a publisher, I mean, they're gonna have a fate that they're just gonna be gone at the end of the day. I mean, as a developer, I should say.
I got you, man, and really good points right there. And I mean, I believe we're pretty much all in the same boat. It's good to hear from Noof, who didn't invest in it, who also isn't a developer, because I think that Don has a very unique perspective from kind of being in the industry and stuff like that. So I think we've had kind of like perspectives from everybody on this. And I will like to add, guys, I know the gameplay right now is a little bit choppy. Unfortunately, K Mega likes to do his gameplay at the highest possible resolution and send it to me. So a lot of times K Mega's gameplay is choppy because I try to shrink it down as much as possible to actually fit in the show. Like, I can't do native 4K gameplay going on right now.
I think it looks great.
When the X comes out, you're going to be dealing with a lot more of that.
Oh my goodness.
And just let me end up by saying that even though I haven't played Friday the 13th, based on the footage I have seen and how much fun I've heard some of you guys say you've had playing this game, I mean, I'll give these guys credit. It seems like they did a pretty decent job, I suppose, for like their first outing. If this is their first major game, not a bad way to start. They've had some problems. The only thing I can say, though, is before they move on to another project, they need to make sure that this one gets the love and attention that the fans who bought into it deserve, and make sure that by the time they put this one to bed, it's running smoothly, it needs next to no patching, that the game is complete and people feel like they've finally gotten their money's worth. And, you never know. Maybe a lot of these guys making this game will get picked up by a big AAA publisher and put into a different team, or maybe they get more backing and funding and make a bigger team with some really good talent, and who knows what they could come up with.
You know what, Noof, you are so right. Like, they did make a game that was really fun for us, and I totally agree with you. Like, they did. I had fun. I'm a little salty. I'm a lot of salty.
I'm not going to be so nice. Not for anything. When the release of the game came out, first of all, they only released the multiplayer, and the servers didn't fucking work. All right. Not only that, in terms of the game itself, there was a huge amount of glitches and stuff like that. To this day, there's still a huge amount. I understand being a small team, but you asked for money from people. So with what they're doing now in terms of support and stuff like that, and automatically going to a new game, even though they tweeted out that they're not going to abandon Friday the 13th, if people are using this small team theory as a way to give them a break, now they just kind of they put a nail in their coffin, per se, because now you can't really use that, because if they're going to start a new game, I haven't heard anything about them hiring a bunch of new people or doing anything in that direction. So I feel like they're a small development team. How are they going to support this game and give it what it needs compared to starting development on a new game? So I'm not going to be as nice on that. I feel like they went in and did a complete cash grab on the trademark Friday the 13th. Like, it is fun to play with your friends when you can play. It is awesome to actually finish a match and get your XP. There's so many things wrong with it that I feel like this is way too premature to start going on the road to a new title. And I feel like it's kind of a smack in the face to people who have supported this one, man.
I got to ask you guys this question. So how long can a game be broken till, this is for the gamers, right? Till the gamers are sick of it, right? Where's the breaking point? Is it a month? Is it 3 months?
It depends, man. Like, there's different gamers out there, like.
But that's the thing. That's the problem. Is there's not a consistent answer from the public that's out there, right?
That is true.
If the public can get together and say this is what we're willing to tolerate as gamers, regardless of what the game is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You hold the development team way more accountable. Obviously, the longer something goes out, the more people get burned on the title, and I get that. But the fact is that some developers get a pass and the other developers don't, and because of that, they try to stretch that a little bit, and that's not good for gaming. I think that's something the community, no matter what console platform you prefer, people need to kind of like stand up and say what they're willing to deal with.
I got you.
So Don, you as a developer, would you say the best road to go for a new upstart dev is to maybe focus on a small scope game just to get the technicalities down, to get their feet wet, so to say, and maybe to not do a multiplayer game, to do something single player because it has a lot less variables that you have to manage and can go wrong?
Well, that sounds like I'm promoting myself if I agree with that. Because
do it.
Because I don't, here's the thing. If that's where your talents lie is in, coding network and stuff like that, multiplayer game makes sense, right? Usually they're small teams, so they have to wear multiple hats. For me, myself, I'm very much a cinematics guy. I'm a 3D guy, that sort of thing. So the scope of what I'm doing is single player, narrative-driven gameplay. I'm not going to even touch multiplayer, and I'm actually going to design my gameplay around something that's doesn't have multiplayer in mind, because sometimes that has restrictions and what you're going to be doing, right? So it's important for you to look at your team, your group of people that are there, if you're a small team, and you cater to your guys' strengths and you double down on that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and go forward from there. But yes, I mean, part of the game is keeping the game within scope of what you can do. Nice. In regards to that, and everyone has a different approach. I think a better approach, instead of crowdfunding and everything, is be like every other hardworking American. You have your day job, you push what you're going to be, your dream, right, which is your title you're working on, and you guys come together and you get the game to a point that you can actually not be afraid to take it to a publisher and this is what I got. Here's the scope of the thing, so they can actually play the game, get a feel what it is, and get true backing behind it, versus this typically like, hey, here's a couple drawings and here's a couple of animations. Either we crowdfund it or we go to a publisher with that. That's not enough. You have to, when somebody's giving you money, you have to lower the risk for them, or at least feel like the risk is lower. Okay. Go far from there. I don't know. That's a long.
And I just like to point out that you can have a massive developer and some of the best techs in the industry, and you can make a disaster like Master Chief Collection.
Yeah. Definitely, and that is a title that I know a lot of people talk about. When I was talking about the Halo 3 anniversary and all that good stuff, but that is a title that 343 wants to completely forget about. I mean, let's be honest here. I know it's true. You look at it from kind of like a more balanced perspective, and me, I'm a Halo fan, right? I wish that they went in and I feel like they did whatever they could. It's just they screwed up with the whole server situation on the Master Chief Collection, and they just want to forget that shit ever existed. But I do think that O-Snaps wants to go in. One last thing about Friday the 13th, kind of like before we move on. So, O-Snaps, what do you have to say?
All right, yeah, so I know everybody's tired of hearing about Friday the 13th. I'm kind of tired of talking about it. Mm-hmm. I do want to address the fact that everybody seems to think that it's like a team of like 4 or 5 people, and I'm gonna put this in the chat. It's about the new game that they're supposedly working on, the game for Dead Alliance. There's an article. It's a statement from Ilphonic CEO Chuck Bruggendart or something. So I'm gonna skip reading a majority of it, but apparently this game was in development before Friday the 13th. It says, with the recent success of Friday the 13th, the game, we have been increasing our staff on the title. We originally had about 20 internal team members working on Friday the 13th. The game and are now, this is what it says, the game and are now, Friday the 13th, the game. Got it. So they're now up to 30 internal team members. We also have opened a second office. There we go.
All right. And we have the siren, guys. There we
So-
go.
They're stating that they're not abandoning the game. This game was in development, but for everybody who seems to think that there's a team of 4 people, it's 20 people. Yes, it's still a small team,
still a
I'm
small
sure. It is a small team, but like literally that's the way they kind of put it out there and made you feel like there was like 4 or 5 people working on this game. So anyways, I am going to put the link in the chat. So if people want to read it, they can totally read it, but you know, they aren't developing. They aren't abandoning it, but it was a game that was coming beforehand. So that being said, I'm done talking about Friday the 13th forever.
Yo,
until
so
you guys
am
get
I.
me into it again.
Yo, so am I. I hope Noof is tired of talking about it. I hope the Don is tired of talking about it because I want to move on.
Shout out to the 63 people watching. You guys are amazing.
Oh,
That's
hell yeah.
right. At this point, it's all about Nightmare on Elm Street. Bring
Oh
it.
my goodness. That's actually, that was my franchise in the 80s growing up. That was my scary movie. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. When it came to like Halloween, man,
Amen.
Friday the 13th, man, Nightmare on Elm Street, that was the shit.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, my dad used to like scare me with a Freddy Krueger mask, and I hate Freddy Krueger like with everything. I remember being a kid hiding underneath my bed. Like I could see it right now, like looking around the glare of the lights, but most of the lights were off. And my dad would just like randomly scare the shit out of me. I will never forget that. Like,
Oh my goodness.
I've hated Freddy Krueger ever since. Like he is not okay in my book.
Well, when they came out with the Halloween costumes, I remember there was this thing. They were trying to warn parents and stuff like not to buy the Freddy Krueger like mask and glove set because people were actually taking out the plastic blades and they were putting in real ones. So,
oh my god,
yo, it was crazy. But yeah, Friday the 13th is kind of mad to me. Nightmare on Elm Street was the shit. But we do have to move on, and we're going to actually stay with like kind of like the horror type theme because there is a game coming to Xbox One, which is going to be enhanced for the One X, and it is a game called Killing Floor 2. Now, when this game was first announced that it was coming to the Xbox One, they said, 4K enhanced, for the One X. I know a lot of people out on social media started to talk about native 4K when it came to this game. Oh, it's a guarantee, all this good stuff. And come to find out, today it was released that the game is actually going to be 1800p. So yeah, we're talking about resolution again, guys. But with that, it's not going to be checkerboarded to 4K. So I guess they're going to do a traditional upscaling for it. I mean, which it's already really close to that native 4K aspect. Now, when the devs talking about this, they said that, when they put it up to that native 4K, that the frame drops were just too bad. Like they couldn't, the gameplay was suffering because of it. So, I want to go in. I'm going to start with the Don. Don, what do you think about Killing Floor 2? Did you see, like on social media, how there was a bunch of people that were guaranteeing that this game's going to be native 4K? I know that content-wise, it's going to have like Xbox exclusive content for it, which is always like awesome. We haven't gotten too much of that this generation. So what do you think about this? And what do you think about do you think the fanboys are kind of like really fueling that 4K fire and they're leading like the gamers out there to get really hyped up or something and just to get let down? Like, how do you feel, man?
Well, I think we should always wait until the games are more finalized. That's, and this goes to everything. This goes through Digital Foundry testing betas or testing crap on E3 floor. Like things and change on games are always kind of a living, breathing thing. They can be better than what we were previously shown. They can also be downgraded, or a lot of times a developer can be just overly excited to give them a new shiny piece of hardware. They get excited about it, right? And they maybe get a little bit ahead of themselves, and then with a little bit more testing, they realize it's not quite the best solution for them, right? So I think that's really kind of the victim of the Killing Floor 2. Now, there is a difference in resolution, and I'm not saying this to start fan wars, because you buy the game that you can see or the platform that you have and, enjoy it, right? But I believe the Xbox One X is native 1800. The PlayStation 4 is checkerboarded up to 1800, which means the original native resolution is much lower, and then it's checkerboarded up to that, and then upscaled again. So to give you guys a little bit of an idea, that's upscaling it twice. So it's kind of a bizarre technique that people use.
Yeah, I'm thinking that is. I haven't heard anything being like upscaled twice. Is that because
that happens a lot on the Pro? That's why I was kind of saying when we had that earlier conversation last week that it's not the same apples to apples comparison between the PS4 and the standard Xbox, because a lot of PS4 titles are, people could say reconstructive, methods are not upscaling, but I'm going to call them upscaling, right? Because the original resource image is less, right? And you're compiling additional data, rewriting that frame and getting a different number, right? So it's just a fancier version of upscaling, and it has pros and it has cons. But the reality is it's a lower. I don't know what the native resolution. That's the problem with a lot of that reconstructive method, because it's hard to tell what the original resolution is.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that we're talking about this right now with your gameplay going with Quantum Break, because this is
yeah, exactly. And their reconstructive method's totally different than checkerboarding too. So like they're different techniques, but basically, you have a lower resolution. They do the checkerboard method where they basically will calculate what the color of the pixels are between each.
Did you say pickles?
Individual pixels between each individual pixels, and they'll rewrite it to a particular number. In this case, 1800. So it's checkerboarded up to 1800, and then they upscale it again. So there is an image quality difference there, and that's why I always say it's up to the customer to tell themselves if they can see the difference or not. I mean, you're buying a product, so you figure it out. In the case of Xbox One X, it is a native 1800, so it's going to be a little bit clearer image, and they're checkerboarding just to get it to that last little bit. I mean, 4K is the holy grail, but you shouldn't ever compromise the performance of your game.
So you think
for native resolution.
this was a good idea to do it this way? Because I know me personally, I'd rather have the frames steady, because it's steady gameplay. It's something that really gets me immersed in the game. It's the smoothness of gameplay and stuff like that. So you think they made a good decision here? Absolutely.
I mean, you always want consistency on anything. When you have more consistency, your eyes kind of relax. You adjust to that. But when things are kind of all over the place, that's where it becomes a little
jarring,
more of a problem. Yeah, it's jarring and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, they made the right decision in regards to this, and this is more of a byproduct of not forcing a narrative of make everything 4K. Because what happens is when you're really pushing the developer to do a very particular thing, and the game doesn't really hinder that for whatever reason on your piece of hardware, then you get performance issues, right?
Yeah.
So you may get this one particular thing, but you're sacrificing there. And the reality is, no matter how powerful these boxes get,
there's going to be
still
sacrifice somewhere.
There's still a fixed piece of hardware. There's still optimization. There's still all these things in order to get these things to do what they need to do. So there's not always an endless amount of power. It just doesn't exist, right? So they did the right decision. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it was a learning lesson for them to say maybe not jump on the 4K train a little too soon for that particular developer. But so other developers will hit 4K. Other developers will go choose 1800 natively. And those are all good decisions when it comes down to the performance and the control and the feel of the game.
I think developer's choice.
Developer's choice is always a good thing.
Yes.
Otherwise, you get bad performance. And we've seen a little bit of that on the Pro, right, where we saw variable frame rates. Now that partially has to do with their dev kit, and that's been improved.
Well, that was one of the things I was talking about with the Pro being a cash grab, is that they boosted up the resolution and stuff, but when the games were first going on to the Pro, the vanilla PS4, actually the games performed better in lower resolution on the vanilla PS4.
Yeah, well, because they were designed and optimized around that, right? So, go ahead there, Noof. I know you want to chime in.
No, keep going. Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
But no, I mean, that's really about it. I mean, the Pro will get better over time. I think it really jump into its own, and they're starting to back off. Sony's starting to back off, kind of having a little bit more of let the developer do what they want. there was a lot of, they wouldn't really say, but there was a lot of fear if you didn't push the resolution narrative amongst the development community, that it may not pass through QC to kind of get your game up.
Well,
and
yeah,
going
because
on the platform.
let's be honest here. When we get down to it, and we use common sense here, Sony was the one who really started pushing that 1080p narrative at the beginning of this generation, and it just kind of like snowballed into the whole quote unquote resolution gate. So you can see developers keep being kind of worried about, well, if we don't try to push the highest resolution possible for whatever hardware, I could see a little bit of stress going on there.
But there's two going on there, right? There's that, and but it's never written in a document anywhere. You're not going to find it, the Sony development documents or anything like that. That you have to do this in particular, right? But there is that fear that they won't be able to get the game, published on the platform because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the marketing people, right? They're not developers, right? They're the people that they license out to actually market the game, and obviously they have all their charts and all their studies that show that higher resolution is a selling point of a game, right? So both of those things are kind of working against the developers on that particular platform. But I think developers are trying to take a stand and just make the game they want to make on the hardware.
Nice. Now, Noof, before you chime in on this, I want to give O-Snaps her time. This is a resolution topic, so I want to give her time to say, I don't give a shit, or whatever she's going to say. So, O-Snaps, when it comes to Killing Floor 2, 1800p as opposed to 4K on the Xbox One when it comes out, what are your thoughts on this in comparison to what, people on social media, they're like, this is guaranteed native 4K and all that good stuff. They were definitely let down, and like that proverbial sock was just kind of put in their mouths just now today.
I don't give a shit.
I knew it.
I don't give two shits. Play the fucking game or don't. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't care about 4K. I don't have a 4K TV. I'm probably not going to have 4K TV till next year. So, yeah. And frames per second is probably the most boring thing. Like, you guys are talking, and I totally respect you, Don, but all I hear is wah, 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 wah. No,
wow, he turned into the school teacher from Charlie Brown. Wah, wah.
And
it's not for everyone, but that's the important point, though. Like, everyone
it is important, but it to me it isn't, and I'm sorry.
Nice.
No,
I respect you, though.
You don't have to apologize. I mean, that's what you're not interested in. That's totally.
But I respect you, though. Like, O-Snaps, I think you get a pass for that. I think he already knows that, so I think you're all set.
I just need to solidify it so he doesn't think that I don't listen. I mean, I hear the same thing when a bot says stuff like that, too.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be talking to me, and he'll just be like, wah, 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 and then he'll be like, right? And I'm like, huh?
See,
No?
Snap thinks I have low self-esteem, and that's really not the case. So, I mean, you can have that opinion.
That.
It's all good. It's all good.
You can't tell me what I think.
Hold on. When bacon is a major part of your diet, you don't have low self-esteem. Let's just be honest there. It gives you self-esteem.
Bacon-flavored beer.
Oh, my God.
You wake up to the morning of the Eye of the Tiger every morning. That's what I do.
And
I hear that at work all the time.
And piss excellence.
And piss excellence and cook some bacon.
Well, cool. All right, let's get it. Yo, Noof, man. Killing Floor 2 coming out on Xbox One. First of all, I believe it's going to be $40 on Xbox One as opposed to PS4, where it is basically a free-to-play port of the PC version now. The whole 1800p debacle as opposed to 4K. Do you have any thoughts on that, man?
Well, let's just say, I can understand where Mel is coming from. Like I said, we've done this resolution debate to death, and we'll continue to do it. And it's unfortunate because resolution debates seem to be driving the narrative right across, the entire podcast community online with the websites. It's just been an absolute atrocious load of BS for the most part. It's more just like a bragging right. And for those, again, who don't know, and we have to remind people, resolution does not mean graphics. It is resolution. It is the pixels that can be seen on screen, which had clarity and depth of field or depth to the actual graphics itself, right? So resolution is great, and if you can push it, great. If you can't, it's better to have a game that performs. Performance will trump resolution every day of the week. In my personal book, I would rather have a game steady 30 frames a second, steady locked, at 1080p any day of the week than a game that's trying to push 4K and bounces from 15 to 20 to 25. We want performance. We want our games to be smooth. We don't want lag and hiccups and blah, blah, blah. I mean, as far as killing floor, look, it's just, I mean, of course, the Xbox One X should be able to make the game look better, and that's fantastic. But at the end of the day, it's still the same game. It's not going to look atrocious no matter what platform you have it on. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, if you got one console, you know which console you got to buy it on. If you got them both, well, and you care about that stuff a lot, you want the best performance, you know which console you got to buy it for there. So it's really not much of a debate. It is what it is. I have Killing Floor 2 on the PS4. I downloaded it when it was free, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. It looks really cool. It reminds me sort of Doom mixed with, I don't know, something else. Kind of hard to say until I have played it. But I mean, like I said, guys, at the same time, it's like going to a strip club. I know some sexy strippers that can't climb the fucking pole. So, you know. So, again, performance should trump visuals any day of the week. Unfortunately, too many people make too much of it.
Oh, yo, Noof, I agree 100%. I mean, when it comes to native resolution, I'm more about the graphic fidelity. I'm more about the increase in textures. Of course, lighting, shadows. I feel like I'm a broken record lately because you know me, man. I'm on so many podcasts, and you're right. We end up talking about resolution on every single show. But, Noof, I do love the fact that you don't shy away from questions. So I'm going to pose another question about this topic for you. Now, when it was first announced that Killing Floor 2 was coming to Xbox One, of course, on social media, you had, like, you know, huge Xbox fans saying, you know, they're basically guaranteeing native 4K on stuff like that. Do you feel like these guys that go out and they kind of predict this stuff so early, do you feel like they, even though I know they have really good intentions and they want their system to be the best possible and stuff, do you feel like they are actually hurting the hardware that they like by, like, kind of prematurely coming out and saying stuff like this, and then it going a different way when the developers actually announce things?
Totally, man. It's no different than having your mother telling you gotta achieve a 90 on your tests at school. Sometimes it sets unrealistic goals and expectations for, you know, the developer, the publisher, for fans alike. I mean, we all want the best for whatever console we own, but until, you know, we've really seen it, till the game is just weeks away from dropping on a particular console, there's no real way to tell unless someone has had access in advance, which is technically usually Digital Foundry. And you know,
I'm sorry. Whenever I hear that name, I just start cracking up. But go ahead, man. My bad.
Digital fuckery. But yeah, like, so it is what it is. Like I said, sometimes I think we're putting a little too much expectation. I know the premise with Xbox One X is for most of the games to run at 4K resolution over the 60 frames. At least it seems that way. It seems like that's the preference they've chosen, is to try to hit the 4K whenever possible, even if that means suffering with less frames. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sure the game will look fine either which way. I mean, I think, like I said, you guys know, and I know that when it comes to first-person shooters, 60 frames is definitely more important, perhaps overall, than other types of games. Fighters as well, they work really well when they're 60 frames.
Definitely. Like, when it comes down to it, man, I hate, like, getting into the whole native resolution thing. Each piece of hardware has a lot to offer for their prospective fan base. I am excited for the One X for all the features. Like, I am so tired of hearing 4K when it comes to it, because there's so much more that this piece of hardware is offering when it comes to gamers, when it comes to YouTubers like myself as well. And there's a lot to get excited for the Xbox One X. And this whole resolution thing, when, you know, people are coming out saying, I guarantee this game's going to be 4K, or I guarantee this game's going to be 4K, and this and that. Guys, I know you have the best intentions, and I know you want to really promote your favorite piece of hardware, but there are times when you come out with it so soon that, you know, you start getting people hyped up in social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or stuff like that, that when the developer actually comes out with the specifics of the game, and it's not to the details that you said you guaranteed, you're actually hurting that system, that game, you know what I'm saying? And it's not a good look. And you're even hurting kind of like your own oh man, what do you call it? Like
Your own image.
Yeah, you're hurting your image at that point in time as well. We all know the One X is quote unquote most powerful console. The specs say so and everything like that. So when it comes down to it, you're gonna enjoy your game on whatever platform you want. But guys, we got to get rid of this whole fighting over native resolution thing because it is a complete bullshit topic. I know it does have its value. It has its value.
People need to stop taking it out of context, right? That's the issue, right? Resolution is part of it, right? I've been playing around with like HDR lighting on different materials and stuff like that, and I noticed with like certain more reflective materials, there's a lot of detail missed if you don't have the native resolution, up, right? And that's something we're going to start seeing, and probably on Forza more than anything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it does make a difference, but you got to balance all that sort of stuff, right? It's not the only part, it's not the only resource that they have, and the only people that you can really promise that are going to hit native 4K, you can absolutely promise are first party, because they've already made the statement that that's what they're going to hit. They're going to hit 4K, and you're not going to be compromising any of the original frame rate of the base product, right?
But let me point out to each and every single game player out there, at least 99.9% of us, when was the last time you played a game in less than 1080p resolution? And trust me, you played a few of them, and thought to yourself as you're playing through the game, I can't play this piece of shit. It's not 1080. It's not 4K. Like, it never happens. You play the game, you love it, and you hate it. And if the frame rate stutters, you might go, oh, geez, the frame rate just dropped a little bit. Like, that's the stuff that you notice. A lot of people generally, when they're playing, aren't sitting there going, oh, fuck, that building has less 300 less pixels than the Xbox version.
That is so true, dude. I don't know how, even through
I actually do that all the time, so I don't know what you're talking about. That is so important to me.
Oh, man. The entire time, last generation, to be honest with you, I can't, and I know this is going to sound like damage control, and anybody who hates me, do whatever the fuck you want when I say this, but even last gen, when it came to the 360, a big issue was screen tearing on a multiplats and stuff like that, right? I never saw that shit. Like, my whole thing, what my eyes are geared to is the smoothness of gameplay. So if my character started kind of like juddering around and stuff, the loss of frames and stuff like that, that's what my eyes are kind of like in tune to see. So even last gen, when it came to the 360 and screen tearing and stuff like that, I hardly saw that shit. And I was like, I remember this generation, I would go back and check reviews of games from the 360, and there, people would say, oh, screen tearing here, screen tearing. I'm like pausing the gameplay footage and trying to see exactly what they're talking about, because I had no fucking idea.
Well, there's screen tearing and there's frame rate pacing, so like it's juddering or tearing of screens. But regardless, certain things, and then I've been saying this for a while, there's certain things in graphics that stand out differently for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's anti-aliasing, sometimes it's the lighting in the game, sometimes it's frame rate, sometimes it's texture resolutions. People pick up on the shortcomings of games in different ways, right? So
Don, I'm glad you said it. When it said anti-aliasing, there's one game where jaggies bother the fuck out of me, right? And it's funny because it's the native 1080p game at launch on the Xbox One and all the way through. You guys know me. I do vinyl designs on cars in Forza, right? But when I start really kind of layering in the vinyls, and I'm getting into like a real high like layer set on the side of a car, like seeing the jaggies on the side of my vinyl, that pisses me off so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, I noticed in like the last Forza Motorsport, like that thing doesn't have like any anti-scene on the game at all. It stands out to me, like when you play a bunch of games that don't have that. But then again, I don't prevent that from me having a good time or enjoying the game for what it is, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, at a certain point, like, people are going to recognize different things, and that's what people are focusing on, frame rate, because it's the only thing you can really count, right? And it is a factor to things, but it's not it's not the only factor, right? In we're getting to this point of diminishing returns where games are going to get better looking, and you may not necessarily be able to. The average gamer's not going to be able to put their finger on why it looks better. They're just going to say, "Well, that looks better on that whatever piece of hardware it is," right? And they're going to enjoy it for what it is. I mean, Digital Foundry is, I think that honestly they're on a trajectory where people are just going to stop caring what they have to say, at a certain point, right? Because they're not consistent in their messaging, and people are kind of tired of the pixel counting. Like, that's not the only thing that takes graphics. I mean, I'm going to be doing a graphic test on my channel actually not too long ago from now, so you guys can check it out and decide for yourselves what you guys can notice. So
Nice. I mean, all in all, if you're excited for Killing Floor 2, and you haven't gotten a PS4 or anything, definitely get excited at the games coming out on the X1. You want to put the money down, man. Don't think about native resolution. Think about whether or not you want to get into this game, whether you want to immerse yourself in this game, because that's pretty much all that matters. I mean, when it's all said and done, if you want to play the game, you want to play the game. But we are definitely going to move on, and I think we're going to hit that topic that, a lot of people want to talk about. I feel like a lot of people might have a misunderstanding about, and that is CliffyB's kind of responses on Twitter. I will let you guys know when it comes to this. First off, it was a conversation on Twitter, and CliffyB started talking about Xbox fanboys, and instead of spelling it with a Y, he spelled it with an I. I don't know if he's part French or what the hell is going on there, but yeah, whatever. And I actually have pictures of what was being stated. Now, everybody on the panel, do you guys know about this whole drama with CliffyB on Twitter with Xbox fanboys and stuff like that?
Of course.
Yes.
All right, cool. Now, I'm gonna take this approach to it. Let me start with O Snaps here. O Snaps, when it comes to this whole drama, what do you think is going on, and is there anybody specifically to blame for it? So I'm gonna ask you pretty much what you kind of know about this whole thing, and who do you think is responsible for whatever drama?
Why you gotta ask me first?
Because everybody loves your voice.
I know they do. That's why you gotta save the best for last, right?
That's why Noof's going last. No, I'm just playing.
Whoa.
Wow.
If you want, I will go to somebody else. And then come
Somebody's
back
sleeping in the doghouse. I'm just saying.
We don't have a doghouse though. I'll just be sleeping outside.
Okay, you'll be fine. So I've seen some of the stuff about it. I think that this CliffyB character is, just a character, but he's quite the douchebag in my mind.
Is he the character from what the hell is that movie?
Sausage Party.
Sausage Party. Giant douche.
That was the worst movie ever, just so you guys know. And
El Duce.
it's ingrained in my brain, and I'm so disgusted with my life now.
You can't unsee that movie.
I think he's a pompous asshole, and he's trying to kind of fire the fuel with the console war with the way he says, Xbox fanboys, and the way he spells it is BOIS, fanboys. And I'm just like, you're such a cunt. I just can't stand like the way he talks about people, like, indirectly speaks of them like us fanboys. But
what if I told you he actually calmed down over time?
Okay, well, he, I guess, I don't know, in a sense, has to. I just think he's an asshole, and he puts himself out there in a very peculiar way where people see him, and obviously the game's only on PlayStation. He fuels the console war fire by saying, the fanboys this and the fanboys, and this isn't the first time. There's actually something about a month ago that he had said that was circulating Twitter too. And I don't remember.
Yeah, the Xbox OXOX, whatever they call it. Which, it's his. All right, man. I'm trying to hold off on my opinion here.
You better hold your opinion.
Hold off, bot.
Who?
I think that he's a douchebag, and I don't want to support his game.
Oh goodness! I've been playing this game on and off all day today. By the way. All right, well, we'll go Noof. First off, I want to hear what you kind of know about this, and then who do you think's responsible? Kind of like how you feel, because I'm gonna come in
Gotcha.
and because I have his conversation all pictured out on my phone. So go ahead, man.
Well, first off, let me just say, like, I mean, I was kind of a big admirer of CliffyB for a very long time, especially during the heydays of Gears of War. He's always had a bit of an arrogance to him, like even from those early days. But it seems to have amplified over the years as he became richer and more well known around the media circle. Sometimes it's warranted, sometimes not so much. I mean, sometimes he just speaks up in defense of certain things, and sometimes I mean, I do this sometimes. I get a little bit angry, and when you get angry, you get a little bit defensive, and you say some stupid and shitty things, which you later go, oh, maybe I shouldn't have put that, especially in a public forum. I'm not trying to defend the guy here. He shouldn't say what he says a lot of times because, again, the oxymoron here, or the whole thing that really gets me, is that ever since he left Epic and he kind of took a bit of a break, he kind of came back, like I said, now that he has his own studio and stuff, and he's made this game, it's like his arrogance has gone to another level, and I hate how he always takes jabs at his former employer. I mean, say what you will, Microsoft is a team, Microsoft is a company that invested in Gears of War. They're the ones who had faith in this product long before it became a AAA game. It could have been an absolute fucking atrocity for all we know, but they had the faith to back it financially. It turned into a mega success. And I don't know what happened after Gears of War 3, but something definitely went wrong when they brought in People Can Fly, and they made that Gears of War judgment. I think Cliffy was ready to walk away from the franchise a little bit, and I think they were pulled back in. I don't know, but that's just kind of the impression I get. And he walked away with a sour taste in his mouth. But insulting the Xbox fans, I mean, we really, at the end of the day, guys, we know what it is. Sony ponied up more dough and investment in Lawbreakers, and for whatever reason, he's always like, shooting the horn for those guys, and then he shits on the Xbox brand, and he kind of shits on the fans a little bit, and and people are firing shots back at him. And I mean, I don't know, I haven't played Lawbreakers. The game looks kind of cool. It's not something that I really care for, so I don't know, like, I'm not putting a whole much weight into it. It is what it is, and that's all I can say. Like, the guy's a bit of a pompous ass, and he needs to watch his mouth, because if this game doesn't do all that great on PS4, I mean, they're going to want some extra sales out of the Xbox eventually. I can definitely see the game coming over.
It's coming. It's coming. There is no way in hell that this guy is going to not try to infuse a player base of, plus 30 million. I'm throwing it out, nice round number, plus 30 million potential customers for his game. There's no way in hell he's going to turn his nose to that. It's just that right now.
And then he's going to say that we're groveling or some shit. I could totally
I can see that happening.
Toss them a bone and watch them grovel. I'm sorry. I really don't like that guy.
I'm cracking up in here because I can see that shit happening. Yo, Don. All
anyway,
right,
yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Noof. Anything else to add to that?
That's pretty much where I stand on it. I think the only thing is it's being blown out of proportion. Like, people are making a little too much of the whole thing. It is what it is. But we've seen this shit time and time again. He's not the only dev or person who works for a dev that said some off-the-wall fucking shit. It's been constantly happening. People kind of outlining their preferences for whatever reason, maybe because they're getting more money from one than the other, or they had a falling out. I mean, it happens in real world. It happens with their jobs too.
All right,
so
Noof,
I don't know.
Noof,
yeah.
don't blow your whole load now. You got to wait for round 2, man. Just like your second time after virginity.
All right, man.
You got to wait for round 2 here. All right.
I'm done with it for now. The condoms put away.
All right, yo, Don, man.
Right?
Don. When it comes to this whole kind of bullshit on Twitter with CliffyB and fanboys and stuff, let us know what you know real quick, and let us know who you feel is kind of like responsible for this, for what's going on, man.
Somebody that's not the yes man at his studio needs to look at his tweets before he tweets them out. I can agree with, like, say, hey, you choose to put it on this platform first and along with PC. I get that. I get that choice. I can respect that choice. And I don't think that choice was just him himself. I think he honestly turned to his team and they made a conscious decision for whatever reason that is, right? Mm-hmm. And they made that decision because they have a responsibility.
You can hear Don kind of tiptoeing through this topic right now, man.
Yeah. So you did it because they did it because of the responsibility of taking care of their team. They placed their bets. No, there is no safe bets in life, right? But they placed their bets, right?
Okay.
If you did all that work and you're doing all that effort, right? Why would you do something so stupid and interrogate a particular fan base as a developer and put your team at risk again? Does that make sense? What he's doing, I know he's trying to entice a certain group and trying to get attention for doing that. I get exactly what he's trying to do, but the same token, you're burning the candle at both ends, and the reality is that fan base may just not put up with you.
What he's doing is reacting to fanboys. That's what he's doing. That's what a lot of people are saying. He's attacking the fan base. He's not doing that. All right.
But the term fanboys is a loose term. It means different for
but we
everybody
use it
here.
On the PlayStation side to recognize extremists. I'm talking about the community. All right.
I'm don't. But that's the thing is everyone's definition where someone who classifies someone as that particular thing is different for everybody, right? And so that threshold is different, and it's actually a really bad stigma for gaming, period, right? Mm-hmm. I think as a developer, if you're using that term openly like that on Twitter, I don't have any respect for you. I simply don't. Well, because
go ahead.
There are gamers that are going to be.
I'm so ready to go in right now.
there are gamers that are going to be zealous on any platform, right? But what you're doing when you say fanboys, everyone defines that as anyone on one particular platform or another, right? That's how people define that, and then they take it personally, right? So he's potentially trying to trigger people by his statement, regardless of what his personal definition is. He is potentially trying to trigger people to get attention, to get clicks, to get the attention around his particular game. And that's where I kind of have an issue. I don't think any developer should ever say the term fanboy. I just don't. I think you're above that when you're a developer. You shouldn't be insulting any potential customer you may have for your product.
All right. Well, here's the deal. Okay, like I said, he was going after fanboys. He started a conversation about lawbreakers, right? And there were certain extremists that came in there, and they were like, "Man, you should really pay more respect to Xbox. They're the ones who gave you your name and all this good stuff." Now, first of all, you should really pay respect to Xbox. They're the one who gave you your name. Now, of course, they gave them the chance to make Gears on the 360, but let's talk about what Gears did for the 360 as well. I don't see, it should be a mutual understanding here, because Gears, man, like the 360 for a while there was riding Gears' shoulders. All right, let's be honest here. Like, it was a mutual business investment that worked out on both sides, guys.
Yes.
Both sides.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to sit there and kneel down to Xbox because they were able to put that Gears on. Because guess what? Xbox profited from it as well. All right, guys? Business investment. And like I said, fanboys came in and said that. So when they came into his conversation, and I'm pulling the picture up right now, he said, "I will say this about Xbox fanboys, all right? Whenever I talk about lawbreakers, y'all come out of the fucking woodwork. Appreciate the interest." Now, I hear what Don is saying with they shouldn't say fanboys or anything like that, but we also know the history of CliffyB. He kind of speaks what's on his mind. He is not attacking the Xbox fan base, all right? He is talking to these fanboys who got into his conversation about that and tried to steer it into something that he wasn't talking about. All right, let's just be honest here. I look at things from a certain perspective.
What you could do?
What?
You have a method. You can block them.
Right,
like,
but see,
but I'm that's what I'm saying.
Hold on. The world is comprised of many different personalities, right? Many different personalities. It makes this world absolutely interesting. So I understand what you say, and it could be the right thing. I know Mooch says block them all that good stuff. But when you look at CliffyB, when you look at him through history, does he look like the type of person that's just going to be like, "I'm gonna block you," or is he going to take his shot in first and then say, "I'm gonna block you"?
But he has a responsibility to his team. That's what I'm trying to say here. All
right, well, check this out.
He's responsible of his team when he starts interacting in that fashion.
All right, check this out. Now, right afterwards, he goes, for perspective, we are a new team making a new IP with a small team on 2 platforms. 3 would have been impossible at launch. So you see that initial tweet, but if you look at it all put together, yes, he said out of the fucking woodwork. But guess what? We fucking swear on this podcast. No doubt. We swear to each other.
No, we don't. Fuck you.
Like, when you look at it as a whole, it's not as bad as what people are trying to claim. People are, like, asking for his head. They're lighting the torches and pitchforks. They're going to the front of his house.
That's extreme, too, and I don't approve of that. But I'm just saying, it's not like he is a new dev, right? I mean, he's been doing this for a long time. He knows what those sort of comments, the type of reactions they get.
Okay, I got you.
He knows that. And you're a boss, and you own a studio. And
but he's
when you think when you first are like, hey, I'm going to be a boss, I'm going to own you.
If you worked at the Stop and Shop Deli, he's like that boss that allows you to smoke weed on your breaks. Like, you know you're not supposed to do it. You know you're playing with sharp objects once you get back there, but he's like, fuck it, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those bosses.
I get that, but you're also, you're responsible for that team.
I'm not speaking from, self-experience, by the way.
But no, I'm not saying that. But he's responsible for that team, right? And the way he's acting with little comments like that, he knows what's going to happen. He knows the reaction he's going to get. Like, he's not that stupid. He's smart enough to know what he's going to get from that, right? The thing I have the problem is he's not like 19 anymore. He's a grown-ass man.
He doesn't know that, though. He's out renting Lamborghinis and crashing them and shit like that,
Yeah, but hit the block button. Think about your team first before you make comments like that. That's my thing on him, because, that sort of behavior deters talent from actually wanting to work with him.
I got you. See, what I'm trying to get at, and I have more for you guys as well. What I'm trying to get at is people took that one tweet, but they didn't look down to the next one. And the next one was clearly a continuation of the first one, right? So, yes, he got a little hot-headed, but then he brought it down to perspective. Now, oh snaps, I know you were calling this guy a cunty hooligan, all sorts of good stuff. Now, with hearing that there was more to it than that, is your idea changing at least a little bit? Can you kind of see where he was coming from when it came to the fanboys coming in on that conversation and trying to swing it to, like, he needs to, like, bow down and pay homage to Xbox and all that good stuff first?
I'm going to tell you what I think. I think I agree with Chris Hughes Sr. in the chat where he said, stop talking and block him and he will fail. And you also said that the more you talk about him, the more that, he's going to get attention, stuff like that. So it's just, kind of got to let it go, I guess. But,
well, it has a point, guys, because Lawbreakers has now officially gotten more attention for its game since the fucking since the PS4 exclusivity, at least for now. It's gotten more attention since then and up to now than it ever did in the 2.5 years prior to, since its original announcement and its launch on PC.
Since someone wants to be an ass and talk shit to the Xbox community, that's why he's getting attention.
Whether it's good publicity or bad, it puts the name on people's tongues.
Yeah,
exactly.
It does, and Cliffy does definitely know this. All right, if you know his track record, he is gonna go off and say some shit.
Can I just call him like Clifford or something? Cliffy is really
Clifford,
annoying.
If you want Clifford, no problem.
He's a whole Clifford.
In fact, he gave himself that nickname and then regretted it. So if you really want to get at him, just call him Cliffy. That's just so you guys know.
Fine.
We'll just call him Clib.
I'm just not going to talk to him.
Well, check this out. There's more to this, all right? Now, we're getting into what he said about developers. And what I'm going to do now, this is going to be an absolutely amazing thing. Not done
Are you
before.
inviting him to the show?
No, I wish. I wish he would come on, right? But here's the deal. I'm going to go to who asked this question, and I'm gonna say the question before I say Cliffy's
like Jeopardy
response here. All right. Now, when he said about the small team on 2 platforms, so having 3 releases would have been impossible at launch. Shout out to my boy Craven God, who I follow on Twitter and who follows me, because he is the one who asked this question. He says, I don't understand. I hear from Microsoft how one person can get the PC game straight to Scorpio or Xbox One X in 1 day or a few hours. Now, let that soak in. He asked about one person. So, CliffyB responded, yeah, it's not that simple at all. Whomever said that is full of it. Does that give you guys a change in perspective here? Because I know there's been a lot of videos coming out about what Cliffy said, as opposed to what other dev teams have said about the ease of porting a PC game to the X1. But this guy was trying to be a smartass and say about one person when he was misquoting Turn 10. Back in the day when they did that whole Forza 6 demo for Digital Foundry, it took one person a week to do that, right? So this guy was being a smartass and said, well, one person, a couple hours or a day to port over a PC game to the One X. And that's where Cliffy said, whoever told you that is fucking full of it. Now, let's go with Noof. After hearing it that way, does that sound like something where he's attacking the Xbox One X?
Yeah, kind of. It feels that way. I mean, he's trying to discredit other developers who've had hands-on fucking experience at developing for these games already.
He is answering to somebody who's saying that it takes one person a couple hours or 1 day. Now, what you are talking about with the dev teams have been teams porting it over. It hasn't been one person. One person, I'm sorry, guys, is not going to fucking do that. Like, that's common sense right there. Like, so he said, you're full. He was brash with his wording. I understand that. But, so you still feel like he's attacking the One X that way?
I don't know if it's the One X per se. I don't know. I mean, he's a developer too. I mean, obviously, Nadon knows this better than I would. But, I mean, these guys have had time to tinker with the architecture. I don't know if Cliff's actually had his hands on the unit itself and has done any coding with it. But these guys have. I mean, and it's going to vary from a game to game scenario. You know what I mean? Like, it depends on how intensive your game is. I mean, at the end of the day, I would imagine it's still like primarily PC code, and it just has to be transferred for the technical unit inside the Xbox One
I
X.
see what you did there, buddy.
Again, it is on a case-to-case scenario, and I don't know this well enough to really like say, okay, he's full of shit or this person's full of shit. But if devs say they can turn stuff around quickly, I'm going to believe like 7 or 8 guys over this just one guy.
Yeah, but see, this is where I have a problem with this right here, because I can see the difference from what this guy asked and what these other teams are saying. These teams are saying, yeah, it's incredibly easy. Our team can get it up in a day, even a couple hours. But they're not saying, this guy was trying to be a smartass and said one man. And I'm sorry, one person is not doing that shit. So therefore, like, if he responded to me and said, well, I thought one person, I'd be like, well, whoever told you that is fucking crazy. Like,
yeah, one person makes sense. I agree with that point. Yes, if you read it specifically, it makes sense.
All right. So, oh snaps, now with that being said, does it sound like Cliff Blazinski is attacking the One X? And I see you in the chat right now. I'm not sure.
I wasn't paying attention. I think he was still attacking no matter what.
Oh my goodness.
I think he's a douche, and they're coming up with some really great names for him.
CliffyB.
CliffyB. We got Cunty Cliffy. That was me. Bliffy Klaczynski. That was also me. Chicken Spaghetti. Where was it? He had a good one. Couple of good ones. Hold on, I got this. Cliffonius was great, but then where's the newest one?
Oh goodness.
Cliffonius de B. And Jimmy Rose is threatening to have me banned.
You go, big shout out to Jimmy Rose, by the way. He's been a long-standing supporter of not just this channel, but he's been a friend to me, Mel, and a bunch of other people in the community.
Yeah.
It is good to see him in the chat interacting with everybody. He does have a podcast that he's working on, so stay tuned. You know, with Jimmy Eat Rose on Twitter and his YouTube channel, and I can't wait to see what he comes up with for the podcast. But let's get back to the show. I am having so much fun.
This is turning into the ADD podcast, but yeah, quite frankly, I think the guy's a dickhead either way, so he was still attacking.
I can see where he's coming from, and man, I hope on BGST
you
on
know
Sunday
what?
we get into
You're sounding
this.
like a pony bot, okay?
Oh no, here we go.
You know what? That's it. I'm done. No.
All right, so
you better enjoy that yard tonight, son.
I'm gonna pull up that sod, man. It's gonna feel so warm. Yo, Don, man, you are level-headed. You are level-headed, man. Can you see what I'm saying here? Where somebody was trying to be a smartass and saying one person in a couple hours to a day. And with that being said, I know if it were me, I'd state you are fucking crazy. Does it sound like Cliffy's attacking the Xbox when it comes to this statement?
No, I think he's defending himself in that statement. I don't think it's a targeted attack towards the Xbox. In general, I think it's more of him defending himself and his team in that situation. And that's the way I looked at it. I saw the comment when it was live, and you know, and I see where they were trying to drive something home, but who cares if someone can develop something in a really quick time or not? All that means is you're going to get a very good version on that platform, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, Cliffy, I think it was like, I don't know if it was several weeks or close to his art team couldn't even get his assets to scale down to work on a base level PS4, right? The game was never designed to be scaled down on hardware like that, right? Mm-hmm. And so literally there was this period of time before they even get anything running on the hardware because they actually had to continuously refine the assets that they had for that platform. So, you know, he's in a different space. He really wasn't designing this game to be console ready.
Yeah, I could definitely. I played the beta. I can see exactly what you're saying with that, man.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, and this is no knock on someone getting it on PS4 first or anything like that, but honestly, the better version, and I'm not a PC guy personally myself, the better version is on PC. This game was designed for high-end rigs to be played properly. You know, like, this is one of the few games I've seen and played where 60 frames per second almost kills the game. Like it's designed to run at a higher frame rate than that. And that's kind of, you know, where Cliffy's at. So, you know, porting a game to any platform would have been an issue for him, regardless if it was Xbox or Sony, just because of the state of where the game was, what it was built around, what it was designed to be. Mm-hmm. It just really wasn't designed for consoles in mind. He had the opportunity. You know, Sony, you know, took the bait. And
Noof, you spelled "cum" wrong, by the way.
No, I spelled it right.
I knew it. Go on, my bad, Don.
But you get where I'm kind of going with that. Like, I don't look at it as more of an attack against Xbox. I think
defending himself.
Defending himself, and honestly, you know, I think that was a defensive. You know, whoever did the original tweet, it was a defensive move for him individually, for Xbox and stuff like that. And it doesn't take away from the talents of other teams or anything like that. No. You know, and what they're able to do with the hardware. So I think he's just developed. You know, talking about his team and what's going on, and I still don't think he should have said what you said. To be honest with you, you have to think things through a little bit.
I wanted to put the whole thing together because it seemed like people were taking bits and pieces of this conversation and running with it. And it's like, well, dude, what happened to part B that he put right down here? Oh, and you're talking about him talking about the porting and stuff. Why don't you talk about the question before time? You see what I'm saying?
CliffyB's
you said it.
Hey, you got Don to say cunt.
No, but the things that CliffyB has said have always been taken out of context. Always. For 8 years now. It's not like this is a new thing for him, right? Uh-huh. So, like, you should know what people will take out of context. He knows what type of attention he gets. In regards to that, I honestly think he just doesn't give a shit.
That's what
At the end of the day, which is a little bit disappointing to me because I think he's a talented person in the industry.
But that's his brand right there as well. Like, you've seen him throughout history. His brand is CliffyB doesn't give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's not cool to wear boots with flames on them anymore either, right?
Damn, I gotta take mine off. Hold on.
Sometimes you gotta grow up a little bit, right? And he's an adult at this point, and he has his own independent studio. The way he's acting and behaving and interacting with people that are fans, those are all potential customers, regardless if you don't like how they're treating you or not. They're all potential customers in regards to that.
I want to point out that his right-hand man for many years was Rod Ferguson, and look at the difference between the two.
Well, I think Rod was there telling, yo, Cliffy, calm the fuck down. Come back here. Yo, Cliffy, where are you going? I got the leash, man. I'm putting it on your collar. That's it. Like,
yeah, Cliffy didn't like that, though. That's the thing. So I don't think he really, I mean, this is me projecting, right? I don't really think he liked being tethered or told what to do. And so now that he's independent, he's like, oh, I'm just going to say what I want. But the reality, there's still consequences to what you say, right? And these sort of conversations, to be honest, are not good on Twitter. They're always short-sighted, like as Bot is pointing out in regards to all this. So, my advice, I don't know Cliffy, he doesn't know me or anything like that, but if we can have an honest conversation, I would say, find somebody in your team that's not the yes man before you tweet something. Type it out even. But hit it to the person that's not your yes man, and let him either delete it or hit send, because what you're doing is affecting your team, it's affecting your game, it's affecting their dreams along with yours.
All right.
And as I used to say when I did radio, when in doubt, leave it out.
Yeah, anytime I do that, I get caught for indecent exposure.
Okay.
But
you know what?
I didn't say whip it out.
Bad.
What happened?
Bad news. The both of you and Noob together, shit. You guys should sit in podcasts all the time. I would be scared.
He would bring him up. I would knock him out the park, and then he would just, in terms of him, like he hits home runs all day anyway. So whenever he wanted a home run, he would just throw it over the fence. But like I would have to have him pitch it to me nice and slow, underhand. I would knock it out the park, definitely. But here's the deal. Now I want to
saying that sounded dirty. I'm sorry.
I want to put the spotlight. There was somebody here, right? Now I want to just put this out here. I am not a CliffyB fan. All right. I do kind of see where he's coming from with certain things. I didn't see him attacking the Xbox fan base, and I know I've made videos about people who are attacking the fan base, the community of Xbox and stuff like that. I did not see Cliffy doing that. There's extremists on both sides of the fence, and I felt like the ones that were coming in on a normal conversation about lawbreakers and telling them like what he should do, with seeing Cliffy's personality, I saw that coming. All right. Now, with him talking about porting over, again, he was answering a question about one person. I can see that. But there is somebody in this conversation that I can't see why the fuck he said what he said. All right? Mr. Ryan McCaffrey from IGN. He posted, after Cliffy said, I know, but this was a business decision. Only 65 employees and had to pick largest install base and only do one console for now. He even put that in stars, for now, right? Ryan McCaffrey goes, most of the whiners can't understand reality, Cliff. Like, this is a guy that's supposed to be kind of representing on a bigger gaming media platform, representing what an Xbox gamer should be and stuff like that, automatically comes out and says the whiners, all right? If I was making a game with limited resources, I'd start on the console with 60 million owners too. Like, first of all, he wasn't in this conversation as a mainstay. He just kind of chimed in when he felt it was appropriate too. My whole thing is, like, what do you guys think about Ryan McCaffrey just kind of jumping in here and calling people whiners and shit like that, man?
I think he needs to mind his fucking business, is what I think.
Goodness, Shaggy
I don't like that guy either.
Shaggy needs to get back into the mystery mobile and shut the fuck up. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? Are you talking to me?
No, Shaggy. Ryan McCaffrey looks like Shaggy.
Oh,
from Scooby-Doo.
okay.
Maybe
Okay.
if he stuck his fucking nose inside of a Best Buy instead of up developers' assholes, he'd have a 4K TV by now.
Oh!
I'm just imagining the mystery van made from Tesla for him.
Is Ryan McCaffrey like out there mooching nowadays? Is that what's going on?
Remember, Ryan, you're a douchebag.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So we got in the chat that Ryan wasn't lying. Now, I can see when it comes to talking about fanboys, all right? I absolutely love the Xbox community. To me, that is the best feature of the system. Like, I love the games, I love the exclusives, but when it comes down to it, the number one thing that keeps me playing on Xbox is the community, how lively it is, how when I go on, all of a sudden I get party invites here. I start up a party, people just come in and say hi, start bullshitting. It's a really lively and a real close community, all right? So in terms of the extremists, I can see that, man. But he just seemed to come out of left field at a point in time in this discussion to kind of be in that discussion. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know he's kind of like, he's with the big gaming media and stuff like that. So it just seemed like he was trying to put himself at that place at that time. So this way he could be like, well, yeah, I was in that conversation. And oh my goodness, I could not
He
believe
needs
these
to
people.
feel important.
Oh my.
That's all it is.
I don't think he even understands the conversation, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not trying to be rude to like Ryan, but like Cliffy, he stated why their team has done what they've done, right? Because of the install base of the PS4. That was the reasoning for it, and it's a legitimate reason. But don't think for one case that team didn't just look at every attribute from every platform in order to decide what they're going to do, right? They look at attach rate, digital versus physical. They look at how many people buy that particular style game on that platform, right? They look at all these different things, how much microtransactions are done on one machine versus another, right? These are all things that they look at as well, and they weigh in on the developer's decision. So it wasn't just install base. That was the thing that probably pushed them over the edge. That was the thing that's easiest to describe to your public base. But they looked at other things. I mean, they're smart people. They know to look at all the other stuff as well in order. And it probably was cheaper for them to port to the PS4 Pro because the version of Unreal Engine, when he started development, I believe defaulted to OpenGL, which is easier to convert over to PS4.
Yeah, we all, for people who look into the hardware and stuff like that, you kind of know the deal with that. In terms with OpenGL as compared to DirectX 12 and stuff, if that was the basis for this game, then that would be an easier conversion anyway.
Yeah, and then granted, it may be a totally different story if it came out next year like the next 2 or 3 years, right? Because by default now the system, the latest Unreal Engine actually defaults to DX12 now, right? So you have to convert over.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of patchwork and things like that. So, I understand why he did what he did, but there's always a bigger picture to that. And the fact that Ryan talks to developers and doesn't understand this fundamental thing that I'm talking about shows me that he doesn't know what he's talking about in his position. And that's concerning to me. I used to read Nintendo Powers, and they actually told you all the different graphical features of the N64. You cannot go to any major outlet site today and get information like that. And that was a children's magazine. Like, you can't say to the media what they're doing today. They don't really know what they're talking about.
I gotta say, shout out to Mr. Tommy Guns, who is putting some really funny stuff on Twitter right now. It is hitting my phone, and you are the man, Tommy. You are the man. See, my whole thing is I can see. All right, I take everything into account here. CliffyB's personality, what's going on with the game, but I also take into account, like, people in the chat have said there are extremists on both sides. They can be fucking annoying on both sides, right? So when you have a conversation going out, even though it's out to the public, and you got these extremists coming in telling him what he should and shouldn't do, with his personality, I see him defending himself. I see him fighting back, all that good stuff. He didn't attack the One X when it came to porting over and stuff. He was literally answering this question of somebody who was trying to be a smartass and saying, well, dude, I thought one person can do it in a couple hours or a day. Like, oh my goodness. And it wasn't like that. He misquoted Microsoft. He misquoted Turn 10 when it came to Digital Foundry and the demo that they, Digital Foundry was shown on the 1X and everything like that. Misquoted everything and tried to be a smartass with that question. And of course, Cliffy came back with a smartass answer. Something I would actually do myself. But I just cannot place where the hell Ryan McCaffrey. First of all, it's not in his personality, right? Ryan McCaffrey is known kind of like a low talker, kind of methodical, kind of like a librarian type person. So it's not in his character to come out like that. So he pushed his tweet out for some type of agenda is what I'm saying. And I just don't understand where he came in. I can understand what Cliffy was doing. I can't fucking understand where the hell Ryan McCaffrey came into all this. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, you didn't know exactly the context of everything, and you just chimed in out of nowhere.
But all in all, like, I hope people, when it comes down to it, I know there's a certain stigma when it comes to Cliffy. I'm not even a fan of Mr. Blazinski over there. I did get a chance to play the beta for this Lawbreakers game, and you know what, guys? It's not half bad. I gotta ask, has anybody in here been able to try the beta at all? I know Noof said you didn't try it, and I know you're multi-console owner. Oh snaps, did you get a chance to try it?
I was making vegetables in sadness and playing Fortnite as well. So no, I didn't.
Was it like the scene out of Sausage Party?
Oh no.
Something like that.
My favorite scene in Sausage Party is when Peanut Butter was holding jelly in his hand.
That was my favorite part.
I can fix this, and he's rubbing jelly over his face, shaking. Like that was my favorite part.
I loved it when the girl told was it Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? She's like, "You floppy fuck." Shut up, you flappy fuck, or whatever she told him.
Oh my goodness. Yo, Don, did you get a chance to try this beta at all? I don't know if possibly PC or whatnot.
I played a little bit on PC. It's good for what it is. I don't really like, the game gets compared a lot to Overwatch. I didn't really enjoy Overwatch all that much. I didn't really feel like there was a lot of value there for me.
You're fired.
This game's not going to have a lot of appeal to me, either, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not multiplayer only games just simply don't appeal to me.
Well, it's $30 though, so it's multiplayer only, but it's also half the price of a full title for the standard edition. And of course, we live in a generation where they have limited edition, we have ultimate edition, and all that good stuff. But the standard edition is only $30, which
yes, but if it's similar to what the fuck is that game?
Overwatch?
I'm not saying it's not a fair price. I'm just saying
if it's similar to that game, then Don has a point. Like, I'm sorry, Don. I cut Xbot off. That cut you off.
Go ahead and defend the Don, okay? That's what you do right now.
No, you're. I mean, the price. I don't think the price isn't fair, and then also the DLC down the road is not going to cost you anything. So I mean, it has a lot of things going for you. If you're a fan of Overwatch or something like that, then try checking this out because it is a more adult version of it. I just personally just didn't appeal to me at all.
Okay.
In regards to that. And it's not a knock on the game or anything like that. I only have so much time for so many multiplayer games in my life, right? Like, there's a handful of those you do, and you go through the story. At least I go through stories of main campaigns on games, and having about 5 in rotation is about my max on multiplayer games. And I just don't have time for this game, and I didn't really like Overwatch, and I don't really like this either, to be honest with you.
All right, I got you. Now, like I said, I played the beta. I'll let everybody in the chat, anybody that watches the show, fans of the Next Podcast, I will definitely let you know what I think, which is something new because I never share my opinion anyway. The game, the best part of it is the gameplay. I am an Overwatch fan. I do like playing Overwatch. I am not as big a fan as the oldest kid in the house. He is absolutely a fanatic over Overwatch. But I do like what they're doing with Lawbreakers. I love the fact that it's a $30 game. DLC is free. That is awesome to me. One of the things that really stuck out to me as kind of like a kind of like semi-downer is the player models look atrocious. I mean, like the textures that they're dealing with kind of look like 360-ish. And I feel like what Don said about them strictly making this game for the PC and not ready to go down to console or whatnot.
Keep in mind it's a beta.
Yeah.
Or beta, however people say it.
Well, that's where I can see what he was saying, because it looked like they really had to really bring certain things down low in order to get that beta and that game kind of flowing on a console. But then again, it's a first-person, I would say first-person shooter, but you also have like swords and stuff like that. So it's a game that is focused within first-person. So you don't necessarily see yourself that much, and the game is so fast that you don't necessarily see the details in the people you're going against that much either. I feel like the zero gravity aspect in the middle of the map is a really good twist on that first person kind of like shooter perspective, because I was dealing with like fighting people who were straight below me, straight above me, while behind me, and stuff like that. It was a really cool experience. The gameplay is actually addicting, and the gameplay is where it's at with this game. So I know all this bullshit has gone on when it comes to Cliffy on Twitter and everything like that, but if you do have a PS4 and it's an open beta right now, you know what, guys? Try it out for yourself, because you don't want to just do yourself what they call a gamer disservice, because there was a whole bunch of kind of like miscommunication and bullshit going on Twitter, and not try it for yourself to see if you like it. Like I said, it's a $30 title, you know, for the standard edition, and I mean, what do you have to lose? You can just not buy it.
Well, here's something I don't like. I mean, first of all, I don't like that there's so many meat. Ever since Overwatch especially became really popular, now we seem to have them turning up every 5 seconds with character-based shooter classes. And the thing that I hate about that is a lot of the achievements in the game or trophies are tied to playing in certain classes. And a lot of times when I play these type of games, I find one class I really like. The rest are absolutely atrocious. I can't use them. I get my friggin' ass kicked. You know, I'm not a big fan of any game that's multiplayer only. First off, if it doesn't have an actual campaign, that drives me absolutely bananas. The only game that I really enjoyed that was multiplayer only in the last one was Titanfall, and that sort of thing, because like you got Overwatch, you got Paladins, you got Lawbreakers, you've got what was that other game that 2K put out, Overborn, or what was it, something with Born in it? Battleborn, which is kind of the same deal. Fortnite kind of reminds me, only from a third-person perspective, sort of. But like, what's with all the stylized, cartoony-ish graphics? Like, at least could somebody make one realistic?
You know, here's the deal. When something is successful, other companies will try to duplicate that. I mean, you've seen it time and time again. When they talk about Halo revolutionizing first-person shooters, how many other companies tried to come out and make a Halo game? You see what I'm saying? It's what happens in business all the time. When 7-Up became popular, all of a sudden that's when Sprite came around. You see what I'm saying? Like it happens.
I know what you're saying.
It happen. It's going to happen, whether it's gaming, whether it's movies, whether it's any type of product, anything that has to deal with marketing, advertising, and purchasing. You're going to see duplicates and imitations. Now, I feel that with Lawbreakers, you know, having that twist with the zero gravity, having the speed of it, it's a lot quicker than Overwatch is as well. I feel like it's like Quake and Overwatch slammed together.
Well, you got to keep in mind, Cliffy also worked on Unreal games too, so he has a lot of that sort of corridor, fast-paced PC first-person shooter pedigree in him, along with other games he's worked on. So it's a little bit of a throwback to that for him.
I got you. I mean, all in all, I hope like we were able to give a little bit of a different perspective on what was going on with Cliffy on Twitter. When it comes to Overwatch, guys, if you have a PS4, it's an open beta. Why not just try it out and see for yourself? I mean, you can go in there and just say you absolutely hate it anyway, but you'll I feel
you just realized he's suggested playing Overwatch, right?
Yeah, he totally did it. I went to say something about it. I pulled my mic out. I was like,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can play Overwatch too. And if you play Overwatch, you buy Overwatch, please let me know. Xbox Live, Xbox 448. I will gladly join you. But when it comes to
if you don't like what CliffyB said, do it for the other development team, other people that work underneath him that don't say things like that, right? It's sometimes it's the one bad egg that's given the bad reputation for the whole entire team.
That's true.
I'll give it a shot.
Give it a shot for those guys. You still don't have. I'm not saying anyone has to like Cliffy. If you like Cliffy, you do. If you don't, you don't. That's your choice. But again, if you're a gamer, you like games, and there's a team that put their hard sweat, blood, and tears in this. There's some old Epic guys that worked there. There's guys that worked directly under Xbox and also directly under PlayStation. So give it a shot. See what you think about it. I'm not a fan of the game personally myself, but I never would use that as a discouragement from other people playing a game they may enjoy. So
yeah, definitely. And with that being said, guys, I think we're done talking about Mr. Blazinski, Lawbreakers, and it's time to move on to a topic that I actually, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I came up with last night because, we could talk about gaming news all day long. We could talk about games all day long. There are so many games coming out. I mean, I could just point to the fact that this is a year in which 2 Sonics are coming out. To me, that's fucking phenomenal, right? I'm a big Sonic fan. But I like to kind of stretch those boundaries sometimes. I like to try to expand kind of like the line of thought when it comes to, of course, people on the panel and anybody who checks out the show. So I posed a question last night in the Next Podcast DM. And Noof, don't worry about it. I'm going to wait till the end for you, okay? So this way you get a chance to kind of get everything kind of solidified where you want to go with this. But with the One X coming out, and of course, we're touting a more powerful system, an increase in textures, lighting, shadows, stuff like that. Of course, getting closer to that 4K aspect of console gaming. I asked the panel, I was like, if you were going to have a title to kind of like a game to flagship the One X, a game either that you make up yourself, right? A game that you get marketing rights for, which means a multi-plat that you would get marketing rights for, or possibly an exclusive either now or from the past. I tried to keep this topic as wide open as possible because I really wanted to see what the panel would bring to the table on this. Like, what game would you use to flagship the release of the Xbox One X, and kind of like why in terms of, what this console can do? Now, Don, did you check out that question, man?
No, but I already got an answer.
Dude, you are so quick with. That's why he wears the chinchilla, people. So please go in and please don't leave out any details because with the HDR that's going on nowadays and having the more powerful system, I know there's a lot that the One X offers to developers and gamers. So why don't you go ahead and tell me the game and kind of like the specifics of it, man.
Ninja Gaiden reboot. Start fresh from the beginning. I think Team Ninja is a great development team, but their engine's dated and all that sort of stuff, and they haven't been the same since they lost certain key members of that team. But have Ninja Theory make the game.
Ooh.
That would be my dream list.
Now, Ninja Theory is making Hellblade right now, right?
They are, and they're a talented team.
They are.
In regards to that, and they do have a variety. I think, if you look at like Hellblade and the visual quality of that game, it's phenomenal. But I think they have the skill set to pull off a proper Ninja Gaiden, if given the opportunity and the budget to do it. And I would love them just to see a blank check cut out to those guys, give them the most powerful console in the world at that given point in time. It doesn't have to be the X; it can be whatever else down the road, right?
Yeah.
And just say, hey, show us what you can do. That seems to be a team that's held back by either budget, right, money, resources, right, and I would say even intellectual IP rights. If they were given the true permission of something and given that freedom, I think they would just kill it. in regards to, and I don't think a lot of people are willing to give those guys a chance, and I really want to see those guys get their fair deserves. So.
Dude, that is freaking awesome. I love asking questions like this now because it leads me to another question for you. Of course, you know the last Ninja Gaiden, it wasn't welcomed by gamers. A lot of people said it was pretty much trash, right? And it had
wasn't their best foot forward. That's definitely true.
Well, it had multiplayer in it, and that from what I hear, that was one of the things that was absolute trash with the game. So. Now, this rendition of Ninja Gaiden, this reboot or whatever, would you have a multiplayer aspect to it, or would you keep it a completely single-player experience?
I would say single player is the roots of that game.
Okay.
If the core play mechanics can work in a multiplayer setting, then I don't say there's any reason why not. But I think that would require some rethinking along the lines in order to make that happen. And I don't really know what the best resolution for that is. So, don't shoehorn something that from a play mechanics wise, it just doesn't work, right? It's kind of my mindset. But if you come with something interesting and it doesn't distract from the main game, then yeah, go for it.
Nice. Now, when it's all said and done, I do have to remind people that the 1X is what they kind of call a mid-generation refresh, a more powerful refresh. So we're not talking about anything that's like absolutely next gen here, because whatever games can be made or whatever, they also have to run on the S and the original Xbox One. So
I don't think we'll ever see a next gen again, to be honest with you.
I don't think so either. At least not with Xbox. I know people are talking rumors of rumors when it comes to PS5 and all that good stuff. Even Sony is saying certain things like that. But when it comes to Xbox, I think we're done with the whole generation.
I think honestly across the board, because we're at a way where games are being built now. Mm-hmm. It's the same process across the board. You're building your games with scalability in mind, from art assets to game engines to everything. So. The infrastructure is already there. It's just the support of the console makers is all they needed to do to kind of finalize it. I mean, the games are made in the exact same way this generation that it was last gen. Think about that for a sec.
Okay.
Every other generation, the approaches have evolved and changed. Obviously, there's some new elements that were getting applied to games and stuff like that, but that's how that's being done. And so if you go forward, right, past what we have coming out this holiday season, I hate to tell you this, game pipelines are going to be the same. They really are.
Nice.
And the cost really won't go up. So what I'm saying is, like, the games have to be built scalable in order for a lot of these companies to survive. So I don't think Generations is being a little tangent, but I don't think Generations will ever happen again. They may call something one or another, or not make it backwards or forwards compatible from a platform standpoint. But for the most part, it's not really a different generation. You're not going to get that like weird leap that you got in the past. This is
weird leap. I used to love the leap. From the original Xbox to the 360. It wasn't a weird leap. It was a jaw-dropping leap. I'm like, holy shit.
But that's not going to happen again, right? It's going to be done through subtleties, and all those subtleties adding up to the final gameplay that you're going to get, right? So I don't think you're going to get the, having that expectation, I think is. I understand gamers having it, but you're setting yourself up for failure.
All right. Well, I do want to shout out people in the chat, and shout out to So Shady, and let me see here. Okay, we got a message retracted, but at least shout out to So Shady. Yeah, guys, as we're talking about this, if you have any ideas, put them in the chat as well. So Shady says a jacked up Perfect Dark would actually. That would be incredible. I know there's a lot of people who want a kind of like a reboot of Perfect Dark. There's rumors about a Perfect Dark in development that's kind of in the third person view. Let's see.
So you want more games with laptop guns?
Yeah, definitely, man. But he said more like Deus Ex maybe. Now I can see something like that, but possibly in the third person. But let's move on to somebody else on the panel. Let's hit Oh Snap Suckers. If people didn't know that was coming, I already told Noof he was going to be last on this. So, Oh Snaps, what game would you use to kind of flagship the release of the 1X?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, maybe you should let
Is that a
Noof
sequel
go.
to No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky. I was totally gonna keep it simple and go with Fortnite because that's currently my favorite game.
So
That's for now.
Fortnite 2?
What happened?
No,
Fortnite
Fortnite.
2?
It would be Fortnite for the launch of the One
Oh,
X.
Yeah.
gotcha.
Well, obviously with a new some downloaded, content or something new when it comes out or something like that because that game is absolutely gorgeous. But I have to say just thinking about I don't know.
I think she's changing her mind now. But
I know. Well,
Fortnite
there's
was an awesome idea though.
horror games and zombie games. You know me, I love horror and zombies and anything scary. So lately the theme has been something scary. So I think I would go with your girl from Fear, Alma,
Oh,
and
oh my goodness! Yo,
and kind
I
of bring
love
that
you.
back.
I love you so much right now. You have no idea.
I love you too, darling.
Oh
And
my.
I think that would be really cool. To just kind of bring that game back to life, bring that whole franchise just back and, showcase it with the 1X and kind of take it to the next step.
That is an amazing idea because at its core, Fear, the gameplay was incredibly solid, and the gameplay can definitely transition, between the X to the S and the One. Now, it's awesome that you picked a horror game because a lot of times the horror is visual, right?
Yeah.
And with the X having all that power to be able to increase the textures, to add stuff to a scene and stuff like that, it would be it could really be a showcase for what the 1X could do because you would add so much more environment and ambiance and stuff like that within the campaign of the game. That is an absolutely incredible choice. Yeah. Now,
Thank you.
I gotta ask if it's gonna be the flagship. Would you, if you had the power to do so, would you make a limited edition Fear Xbox One X
Indeed.
console? Yeah.
We would have to have the Xbox Pope be the designer of that limited edition console because he is freaking amazing with it. I love his art. He does such incredible stuff. So he'd be the one designing it if it was my option.
Now, if this was a crowdfund right now, I'd be throwing my money at Snaps. By the way, I am so sorry, Don. The Ninja Game,
like everybody else, throw the money in. Do it.
Wow, that is incredible. And can you imagine that type of game? I'm a big Fear fan. I don't want to get it twisted. I am biased when it comes to this, but I can just see it with full HDR, added environment to the scenes, even more jump scares and stuff like that added to the 1X, but still not enough to make it like a separate game compared to the S, but really fleshing out the graphics and stuff like that on the 1X. That would be absolutely amazing. A limited edition console, I am there 3 days before time.
I have to be honest with you. I think you're just trying not to sleep outside.
I think
she's putting a real fear into you right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
she
it's
is.
like she was telling me, because I posed this question before, and everybody that was in the DM was able to kind of chime back and do whatever. So, but with Snaps, we're right next to each other. She started talking, and even with Fortnite, I was thinking, with that HDR, the community that seems to be growing in that game right now. So much that game has to offer in terms of unlocking stuff, and kind of it looks like there's going to be a community there for a long time. The cartoony aspect to it, the colors and stuff like that. I thought that was a perfect fit for the 1X as well. I do know that there's exclusive content on the PS4 when it comes to Fortnite, so it would have to be a Switch and marketing deals or whatnot, but I also pictured a limited edition Fortnite console as well. I thought it would be a great idea. But then she just goes over the top and gives me one of my favorite game franchises of all time. I have a huge smile on my face right now. And guess what? Noof, you're going to have to try to top that, my brother.
All right.
He just screeched. Just saying.
I am giddy like a fucking
Well-
schoolgirl right now.
All right, go ahead, Noob.
I'll try my best, and I think I'm going to go on left field completely on this one, guys. Well, it's only fitting that the world's most powerful console should be equipped with the world's most powerful superhero, and that would be Superman. And I think a Superman game made exclusive for the Xbox One, at least a year exclusive, would counteract the Spider-Man deal sort of on PlayStation, and it would have the graphic fidelity of Injustice. I would have a team of either Rocksteady make it. If they can't make it, I would go with Warner Brothers Montreal, because personally I thought they did a hell of a great job with what was it, Arkham, what was the one they did? The other Batman one?
Arkham, was it Arkham Knight?
No, it wasn't Arkham Knight. Ubisoft Montreal did the other one, the one beforehand, the prequel. What was it?
Oh, Don, you
I
know
don't know.
this. I'm not as much of a Batman fan.
But you know the one I'm
Asylum?
talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it was Arkham Asylum. It was Arkham City, but there was one before the prequel one. I forget what the hell it was called. Somebody in the chat probably going to come up with it here.
Yeah, I'm waiting. People in the chat, let us know which Batman he's talking about. Like I said, I haven't been a huge Batman fan, but I do know the Arkham series. I just forget the name.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. So this is what I have. Like I said, a definitive Superman, because we have not seen a good Superman game probably in forever. So if somebody can get Superman done right, and I'm pretty sure those Arkham Origins. Thank you, Tommy.
I said that, dude.
Did you say that? I didn't hear you.
I said City Origins Horror.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anyways, but thank you, Tommy.
Well, thank you, Snap, and thank you, Tommy. So a really good Superman game with a great physics engine. Get the flying right. Don't make it monotonous with a bunch of stupid quest fetch. But here's how you make it original too. Is basically you would have a world designed much like you know how Mass Effect you go to the planets. Well, you would have Earth as a planet, and you'd have missions to do on Earth, and you could literally fly to other planets. So you would be able to take on and fight other like super alien races and that sort of shit to keep it from being like the same old where you're flying around just one stank ass city for the whole game. So a Superman game done right, exclusive to Xbox, could be huge. And if I had a second choice, I would get the guys who did Yakuza for Sega to come over and make a long-awaited sequel to Streets of Rage, open world, kicking ass. That's how I would do it, baby. Exclusive to Xbox One.
Wow.
Damn.
Yo, after hearing you guys, Superman, by the way, dude, it would be a perfect time. You know, we have Justice League coming out. Of course, we have Spider-Man, you know, on the PS4 side of things. It would be an absolutely perfect time to come out with an actual quality Superman game. The answers that you guys have come up with, man, it makes mine look just like very, very minuscule, and I am so embarrassed. You know what? I'm not even gonna say it, guys. I'm just not gonna say what I.
No.
Put it this way:
He would say Halo.
Oh,
everything
Fucking Halo
Luke says, like I'm on board. I'm like, that sounds amazing. But every time he said Superman, I kept thinking about Superman 64.
yeah.
And that's why we need a good Superman game.
That's
So
why
we
we
can erase.
desperately need a good one, right?
We can erase that from our memory. I mean, the Superman Returns wasn't complete garbage on the 360, but again, it was tied to a license, and I think developers can do so much more when they don't have to tie it into a movie, when they can make their own vision of a franchise and take it where they want to go. And I think that's why the Arkham series of Batman games also was a success. It didn't have to lean on a movie license. They kind of took the best of both worlds and combined them into one and made a really hell of a great game, you know, with a solid combat system. So Superman can be done right if it's given the love and attention of people that are Superman fans first and foremost, and know the lore behind the character and can do it with graphic fidelity, solid controls, because Superman would need to have very precise controls, and he's got so much power. Like, you could literally have the destruction of Crackdown 3 into a Can you imagine that? Like, you're fighting a Zod or somebody in a Superman game, and you're literally blowing the shit out of the whole city.
Yeah, use the cloud compute for the single player aspect. You could definitely do that, and you would feel like as you are Superman. That would be an absolutely incredible title. I think somebody has to get somebody from Xbox on the line and let them know what we're talking about on this show, because there is some stuff that could definitely happen here. All right, as far as mine goes, I like I said, I was trained by that Mooch school of podcast, moderation and hosting, right? And one thing that Mooch says is nostalgia is one hell of a drug. And I have had an Xbox since the original Xbox. I would bring back Jade Empire, just for the fact that, it not only is it an RPG, and a quite extensive RPG, which people can really immerse themselves in and everything like that. I look at kind of like the graphics of what the 1X can do. And if you remember the scenery of Jade Empire and you picture that powered by the 1X with HDR, everything, it would look like the most beautiful kind of like oriental painting you have ever seen, but you would be playing in it as a game. To me, it would be absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And I look for the scalability as well. Like I said, Xbox One family of devices, and they can definitely scale down foliage and stuff like that to make it work on the S and the launch Xbox One as well. There's not too much I would change about it. Just, give it more options, more missions. But in terms of the graphics, completely blow people away. And I feel like that would be an awesome flagship title for the 1X. Not only that, can you imagine what a Jade Empire limited edition console would look like? Have any of you guys played Jade Empire on the original Xbox?
Yeah, I did.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna take that as a no. Dude, do you remember the backdrops to that game? And can you picture them up to like today's generation? And then with the power of the 1X really like fleshing it out even more. To me,
that game looked phenomenal even back in its day on the Xbox. I mean, it looked better than Knights of the Old Republic, in my personal opinion.
Definitely, and to see what they would be able to do with that, with today's standards, and then like I said, can you imagine a limited edition, like 1X with kind of like that scenery kind of like wrapped around it and whatnot? Dude, that would be insane in my opinion. But like I said, you guys kind of dwarfed my whole thing here. Like, I could have went the easy route and said Halo 3 anniversary, but
oh my god, just stop.
which
You're obsessed.
Hold on, that would be great though. That would sell a shit ton, and I don't care what anybody says.
And we'll have an intervention for you, Xbot.
I think it's on its way. I think it's on its way already. But I don't know. Yo, guys, you came up with some great options there. The Superman, even the Streets of Rage that Noof came up, but Noof, you're only supposed to do one. I'm just letting you know.
I just thought I had to toss it up. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. I was so excited. And I was thinking about that too. Like, man, like Sega got so many properties right now that are like sitting in limbo that it's almost an effing crime. Like somebody somewhere has got to like contact Sega and either get them to start making games that we know and love, or give them to some other developer the properties to do properly. Like Shinobi is sitting there ripe for a perfect game, especially with the success of games like Neo and and Ninja Gaiden and all these other games. Shinobi hasn't had a great game in years, and there's great stuff you could do with Afterburner, and there's lots of good stuff you could do an Outrun that looks like Forza Horizon. You know what I mean? They have properties that people know and love from way back in the 80s. Imagine a really good Space Harrier game, for example, like done besides just flying left and right, but an actual, a game with a story and some really cool ass missions. They got properties that they're just letting waste away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, Sega, they've gone through their kind of like financial woes and stuff like that, and it would be great to see them strike up some deals. Xbox, even PlayStation or whatnot, to try to get some of those other titles out and out to the gamers. You know what I'm saying? And maybe in due time they will. I think there was a document from Sega saying that they have some type of partnership going on with Microsoft and Xbox right now, and we'll just have to kind of wait and see what that actually entails. You know what I'm saying? So
and we need a cooperative version of Crazy Taxi. How awesome would that freaking
be? Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, and do it co-op style. So you got multiple people going around the city bringing cab rides at the same freaking time. Can you imagine? Be like Grand Theft Auto, but you got to compete against your friends to get better cab fares.
Yeah, I sound like fucking bot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you sounded like me when you said fear, like I was just sitting back and enjoying that. Oh my goodness.
Then we drowned out Don. What were you saying, Don?
No, it's gonna have to call it Uber taxi.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Nice.
No, you get people calling you on your phone. You get a message on your phone. Oh, I gotta pick up here, blah blah, blah or pick up there. You work up from a Prius to an actual car that's worth the darn.
No, you just said actual car. You could have ended it right there, man.
Yeah, Prius is pretty much a pregnant roller skate at this point. Like I don't understand why that even exists.
But they have the Prius Sport now, which comes with like a spoiler. So there's that.
Spoiler alert.
Oh my gosh. Guys, let's stay on track here.
All right. Well, if
like a smart car comes with a better dildo.
And there goes a neufism if we've ever heard one. But guys, that's pretty much the show for now. I feel it was an absolutely great show. Noof requested to come in through the back door, and when Noof sends that backdoor request, you gotta say yes. So we are gonna let people know exactly where they can find us and all that good stuff. We're gonna start with Noof. Noof, it's been an awesome time just talking games with you, gaming news and stuff like that. Thank you for coming on, man.
Hey, brother. Well, I was planning to tune in and watch a show. Then I saw you guys were a little bit short on the panel tonight. So I figured, hey, if you want somebody to jump in, I'm always game. It's always a blast. I have a great time when I join you guys. You're a great panel and great podcast. So it's a lot of fun. And as far as I can say, guys, you know where to find me. Just like Xbox, man, I keep it simple. It's Noof Nukem on Xbox, Noof_Nukem on PlayStation Network. Always appreciate the friend requests and gaming it up, co-oping, streaming. It's all good, man. So much love to you all for everybody hanging out tonight. And back to you, sir.
Nice. Hey, Noof, man, you've been such an awesome, not only supporter of the channel, but you've been an awesome friend. I am thinking about. You have an open door to the podcast whenever you want to jump in. I think I'm just going to send you a link every Saturday as well, and whenever you can, just jump in, man. I don't think anybody on the panel would have a problem with that, and we have a blast talking to you, man. Thank you again, dude.
You're welcome, man.
All right, and let's go next on the list. Like a 40-year-old with a comb over, got to put those plugs in. Oh, snaps.
I really hate when you say that.
Oh, it's so colorful, though, and detailed.
No, it's too detailed.
I'm bald.
Too detailed, that. First of all, I specifically told you before to save the best for last. This is twice. Okay? Twice. So you're going to be out in that doghouse tonight that we don't have. The doghouse we don't have.
I challenge you to a game of Mortal Kombat on Community Combat to try to get my spot on the bed back. How about that?
We'll see. I just want to let everybody know that we are doing Community Combat tonight from 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or EDT or whatever. I don't really care. I'm not going to get into an argument about it. But thank you, New, for joining us tonight. You saved the show because we only had 3, and then there was 4, and I appreciate you joining us and coming on. Imagine if I was working tonight. It would have been crazy. But yeah, thank you everybody in the chat for joining us.
It would have been the first episode of The King and the Dev.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. Thank you everybody for checking us out live. Thank you to everybody who stops in after the show ends. We do appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. You guys have been amazing. And definitely check out my channel. Actually, I just hit 450 subs tonight. Once we started the show. So, yay, that was a milestone that I was supposed to hit last month. But, hey, I don't care. I'm really excited about it to, watch my channel grow. It's really awesome. So, thank you, everybody who does. We do a podcast on Wednesday. It's called Coffee, Casuals, and Consoles. You should totally check it out. Yeah.
Well, last week we had a showstopper on that, right?
Oh, yeah, that was awesome. Oh, and next week we have 12 months of EA access to give away to one lucky viewer that is live. So you guys might want to check it out live.
12 months is good, but I'd rather have a year.
You know what? Shut the fuck up.
Well, what is it in metric?
You know what, guys? You're annoying me. That was donated by Tony Almeida. He's really awesome, great community member, and this is the second time he's given us that one of those codes to give away. So thank you, Tony, for that. So guys, please tune in on Wednesday. Follow my channel. set the bell. You want to be there live.
What's the game for community combat tonight?
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Well,
I did tweet about it.
You can come in the party and tell jokes, okay, Don?
I don't
Actually,
have
the
jokes.
room is
I'm
open
not
right
funny about
now. The room is
What?
Community Combat, 10 p.m. EST.
Oh my
But anyways.
goodness, you're like early.
Yeah, because we're running late here.
Oh, we're always running late though. But I'm saying, oh, awesome, and congratulations on the 450 subs. Your content is absolutely amazing. Oh snaps, the podcast is great. Love the live streams, especially with that face cam now, right?
Yeah, with my green screen. You know, I love my green screen.
She is. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I'm actually about to hit 3,000 followers on Twitter too, so that's really awesome. It's like, hey, milestone day.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, I'm cheesy.
No, it's all right. You know what was funny about Twitter? Like, I used to mess with O Snaps on Twitter. Like, she would, say so many people follow her. I'm like, yeah, well, man, like, you got so long to mess with me. Because we go back and forth. We tease each other a lot about every random thing, right? And then she just blew by me and never checked her rearview mirror after that. Wow! Like, she was in some sports car, and I was in the sporty Prius with the spoiler. Like, that's...
Didn't she get like an Aaron Greenberg to follow, and then after that, like that's when she left you behind?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, shout out to Aaron Greenberg for possibly following me in the future.
Wow. Desperate.
It's like somebody winning an event and wanting to thank their sponsors, but they're not actually sponsored.
Yeah. I'd like to thank my
man.
hopes and dreams.
All right. Community Combat is coming up pretty soon.
All right.
Bob.
I got you. I'm having too much fun right now. Yo,
I
Don.
know.
I believe a video dropped today on Happy Little Polygons, man.
Yeah, I did something. I did a thing. It was just opinion piece this week, but you guys seem to be liking it, so I'll keep posting it. The last one did better than I expect, and hopefully this one will at least match that. And the channel's growing, and I'm not even expecting that, honestly. I'm just happy if 5 people watch one of my videos, to be honest with you. So that's all good. And the best way to follow me, honestly, is on on Twitter. With my Twitter handles down below in the comment section here. So feel free to just go ahead and follow me there. And if you're interested in following me on Xbox Live, it's pretty much the same thing, just no underscore. It's just the Don space KTR, and you can follow me on Xbox Live.
Beautiful. And as always, guys, thank you everybody for coming out and hanging with us live this Saturday evening. And we have so many faithful followers. The community has been absolutely incredible. And guys, I just want to let you know again, this is your show. You guys inspire us and as we strive to give you the most entertaining and the most knowledgeable gaming news podcast, and you guys give us the power to do so. We thank you guys so much. The community is absolutely incredible, and I know those gamers, they want to get the controllers in their hands. I know I got to get ready for community combat. I got to try to win my spot back on the bed tonight, if that is possible. So I'm going to say, as I say every Saturday, we will see you next Saturday on the next podcast. Have a great weekend, guys.
Later.
Peace out.
Uh-huh.